2 or 3 years later, we're going to put some emotion on Emmons. What the hell were you thinking? Last time you did this, I don't know. One of them was a recharge. I guess you remember all these people. Tar, whatever that is, get all over their tires, get thrown up on the side of their car. Right. That one. I think we needed some better.
This phone know how to do that. I swear to God.
Fish by the oh, by the way, did they turn out for your store? Appreciate that. The city turned my sewer off. Well, I figured since the water did.
See, I've been needing to get my new Red Cross card renewed at work. I don't have to. She said it was my red card, so.
You don't necessarily want the side.
No. We can live without it.
So those from Saturday, you were late. I asked for this. They ain't seen this, so I didn't know this was my. Oh yeah, I got ribs. Yep. Yeah, she talked.
Okay, we're still going.
Give this to her after.
And we're still going.
The longest agenda I've ever seen. Well,
97.
But if you
3 minutes.
There's a guy here.
You couldn't say. You didn't want the back. Yeah, no, you got one that wasn't very sharp. It didn't happen. If I recall. The one that you got from I gave you last week.
There was a young lady. First hour was sitting in my car.
Oh, no.
Runway down.
If I could have the camera, please.
Well, Mike, you're here.
Now we can start.
Oh, you're selling the blood drive. Okay.
How much you selling for?
Yeah.
Right, I forgot about the blood drive. We can do that next time.
I didn't know it was for the blood drive. Okay.
First comedy vampire.
Evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting of the Lincoln Park City Council to order at 7:30 p.m. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, which we immediately followed by the invocation by Pastor Joe Salazar of Christ Family Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask everybody bow their heads, please. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Father God, we come to you today. And first of all, we just want to thank you, Lord. We want to thank you for the blessings that you bring upon everybody here, Lord. Everybody here in Lincoln Park. And Lord God, we thank you for the mayor, the council, everybody up in the council's chambers there. And we want a special dedication here to PFC Michael Thompson. He was in the armed forces, served in Syria, and died non-combat related but died for our country. We just want to keep him in prayer. Want to ask everybody to keep his family in prayer, please. And Lord, we thank you for everybody in Lincoln Park that serves first responders, fire, police, ambulance, and DPW, who has worked so hard this past week because of the storms and the mess that was out there, people's floods. We want to, Lord, we ask that you touch the people who had these floods, who had these problems, that had to get rid of things. Such a loss for many families, Lord. And we ask that you touch them and you lift them up. And we ask that you be with council and the mayor today, Lord, and guide them. Guide them in the decisions that they have to make, the tough decisions that they make for our city to keep our city going. In Jesus' name we pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. We appreciate that. If we could have roll call, please.
Councilpersons Breeding. Higgins.
Here.
Kelsey.
Here.
Parkinson.
Here.
Ross. Here. Salcido.
Here.
And Mayor Carnes.
Here. Good evening, everyone. Glad to see a full house. It's always good to see a full house. The pastor mentioned PFC Michael Thomason from Syria. We're still getting more information on this soldier, and obviously steps are underway. I'm reaching out to our Congresswoman Debbie Dingell and to a former soldier Aaron Bartell, who has been helping me out. And we need to honor this young man when it comes down to it, including his name placed on the marker over at our War Memorial Park, of course. So there'll be more to follow at this point, but as I'm sure that this is devastating to the family, I want you to definitely to keep his family in your thoughts and prayers for that. We were privileged last week to go to the Mixter Institute for Autism Awareness, and that is at the old Mixter School, which is Electric and Pagel is at. While we were there, I was there. Councilwoman Ross was there also, and they were kind enough, and I think Councilman Salcido I saw, and the others may have been there as well, but just during the time that I was there, we went through the store and saw the different things that they were making, and they also have a resale shop that is open from 10:30 to 2:30 Monday through Friday, and dropped a few dollars in there too. But it was a very nice event, and they were kind enough to give both of us, and it's a certificate of appreciation award to the Lincoln Park City Council for your support of the Mixter Institute for Transitions Autism Awareness Open House. They provided one for me as well, so that was just a nice sign for them. And we would appreciate it if you could show your support for them too, as we are just coming out of Autism Awareness Month. Hopefully, some of you went to our Cinco de Mayo, which probably should have been Cuatro de Mayo, but that's since it was on the 4th. This is the second year that the intersection, or that O'Connor has been shut down between Fort and Electric. It was very nice with live music and dancing. It was a non-alcohol family event with a lot of good food and entertainment that was there. So I have to give my thanks to the DDA, the Downtown Development Authority, and its executive director, Giles Tucker, who was assisted with this by our events coordinator, Maureen Tobin. But it was a very nice program that was put on by all. The next we have the Ministerial Association will be putting on a Time for Community with emphasis on unity. And this will be at our band shell, the 3240 Ferris, on May 29th, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. And there will be presentations, and I think that not necessarily vendors, but there will be information booths that will be taking place over there. Now, if I could impose on Mr. Copler here, I have some pictures that I want to show you. My last vacation. That is not the case.
I thought you'd be your grandchild.
Yeah, well, that's coming. On Friday, they started an open house at it's the DeSanto Arts Center, which is on Chestnut, just off of Biddle in Wyandotte. And at this was the art display for the Lincoln Park High School seniors, and there was a great display that was put on. 4 of those competitors that were at that event also took part in the Congressional Art Show, and this is at Wayne County Community College. And 4 out of the top 10 competitors were from Lincoln Park. Yes, exactly.
It's nice to see that.
And of course, I set aside their names, and I didn't, and now I can't find it. But Miss Iris was the winner of this. But those are the young men and women up front, and if three of the top 5 finishers are right there, and then lastly you have Miss Iris, who has the winning display. Now, the beauty of this is that she will be going to Washington, D.C., I think it's on May 24th, at which point her art will be displayed, and she'll enter the national competition. But not only will she be vying for the top role in the country, but her art will be on display in the Capitol Rotunda for the next year. So that is quite an honor for these kids, and they've done a fabulous job for us. So, thank you for the assistance there. I have a message from Councilman Higgins, who says that the makeup for the elementary swim camp, the last day is Thursday, May 9th, 2019 at 4 p.m. And this is at the high school.
Correct.
Okay. So if you missed that, once again, the elementary swim camp last day is Thursday, May 9th, 19 at 4 p.m.
It's making up because of the flood.
Because of the flood. We had yes, we did have a flood.
Yes.
All right, little one. Not to make light of that event in any stretch of the imagination. We had, those of you that were out and about on Saturday at 1 p.m. may have heard a relatively strange noise in the city of Lincoln Park as our emergency sirens sounded. And this has been a case where our fire chief, Steve Martin, has been working very hard to get this completed. And come Saturday at 1 o'clock was our test, and everything operated the way that it should have. So as we enter into our violent storm weather, which is where we're at right now, that is very good news. And almost lastly with this, we have our curator for the Lincoln Park Historical Museum in the audience. And he has an event that's coming up that he would like to talk shortly about. Would that be correct?
Yes, correct. Thank you. I'll be quick. About 2 minutes and 47 seconds, I promise. First of all, I'd like to draw the attention of the Lincoln Park community to a very unique opportunity coming up on May 23rd. It will be the annual dinner of the Historical Society, which takes place at the high school on Thursday evening, the 23rd. Our speaker that evening will be Mike Grobel. Mike is the president of the Polar Bear Memorial Association. If you've ever visited Whitechapel Cemetery up in Troy, you will have seen a large white polar bear monument, which since 1929 has memorialized the Polar Bear Regiment of World War I and the men of the 339th Infantry. These troops fought in a combined Allied effort against the Bolsheviks in northern Russia over the winter of 1918-1919. This summer will be the 100th anniversary of the regiment's return to Detroit, where many made their home. A number of these men of the 339th Infantry established their homes in this area following the war. Their names are Private Benjamin Goodell, who died in 1923, and for whom the VFW Post 552 was named when it was formed in 1930. Also in that regiment was Private Walter Pagowski, who became an active member for many years with the American Legion Post 67 here in town. Another was Private Vernie Stockings. Vernie opened the tire business in Lincoln Park that became known as Park Tire, right here on 4th Street, which is today a fourth-generation family business. And then Private Columbus LeBlanc. LeBlanc was a member of a very long-established family here in this community. We also have named 3 other men who lived in Lincoln Park for a time. We don't know anything else about them. I can give you their names. Private William Boundy, Boundy, Sergeant Newton Osborne, and Corporal Gary Rankin. And these are men that we're trying to locate information about, possibly trying to find family members if they are still in the area. So these 7 men served with the Polar Bear Regiment in northern Russia over the winter of 1918-1919. And this will be the theme and the subject of our presentation on the 23rd. We do have tickets available for the dinner that evening. Because it is a dinner, we do have to charge some money for that. And the tickets are $20. And if you're interested in attending, you can reach us at the museum number, which is 313-386-3137. And those reservations are due by Monday, May 20th, the Monday of that week. And again, the event will be held Thursday evening, May 23rd, Lincoln Park High School cafeteria. Doors open at 6:15. Advanced reservations are necessary, and the number again is 313-386-3137. It's a very unique opportunity to learn about some of the men that came to this city and formed Lincoln Park in the 1920s, and their families that followed. So hopefully we'll have a nice turnout for that. We are having some of the relatives of these men here, including some of the Stocking family, which still runs Park Tire on 4th Street. So if you have a chance to take part in that and come by, we'd appreciate seeing everybody. I have one other little thing, and that's on Saturday, May 18th at 12 noon. We're having our annual memorial bell ringing ceremony. This is the day before the Memorial Day Parade. And we do it every year on Saturday at 12 noon. And we'll be memorializing and honoring those who have served our country with the bell ringing ceremony, and also those members of our Historical Society who have died over the past year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Now, lastly, under the mayor's comments, it's my responsibility as mayor to bring to your attention different events that have taken place in the city and happened. Probably a larger event recently has been the night of April 30th and the morning of April 1st, in which we had a tremendous rainfall. So we're going to spend a little bit of time with 3 or 4 speakers to update you on what happened, and what has been done. We won't be taking public comment or questions at that particular time. That will come at Citizens Communications, but we will try to do an overview. And everyone that is here speaking for that will be remaining through Citizens Communications. So with that, I think that it was my plan to have John Kazoo here this evening, but John is taken ill this night, so filling in will be Ryan Kern of Hennessy Engineers. And so Ryan's going to give us an overview. So Ryan?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Ryan Kern with Hennessy Engineers. Just to give you an overview, to start with the sewer system in general. There's separate sewer systems here in the city. There's a storm sewer and a sanitary sewer. The entire city is separated. Some of your neighboring communities have combined sewer systems. As far as the sanitary sewer system and the basement flooding that took place, there definitely was a significant increase in the amount of flow that was in the system, and that can be attributed to groundwater infiltration and rainwater inflow coming into the system, as well as the majority of your homes have the footing drains connected into the sanitary sewer system. We received 3.2 inches of rain over a period of 10 hours, starting at 8 o'clock at night on Tuesday night, April 30th. That's roughly 10% of what we see on an average per year. So 3.28 inches of rain is a pretty significant event. And it seems like it was a thin area, basically from Romulus, went right through the northern half of Lincoln Park over to Ecorse that got hit the worst. Lincoln Park isn't the only community that's dealing with the flooding. Obviously, we got Romulus, Taylor, Dearborn Heights, Allen Park. Those communities saw just as much, if not more, flooding than Lincoln Park did. Ecorse and Melvindale also experienced basement flooding as well. Just to give an overview of the sanitary sewer system and the functionality of it during the event, the entire sewer system basically flows from west to east throughout the city and goes to the River Drive Interceptor, which is operated by Wayne County and runs along the eastern edge of the city. Everything then discharges down to Wyandotte, to the wastewater treatment plant, the south end of Wyandotte. River Rouge and Ecorse also tap into the same sewer upstream of Lincoln Park. And then Wyandotte and Southgate also tie in further south. There's 4 connections that the city has to that system. There's 9 pump stations within the system, and those were checked periodically every 2 hours starting at midnight on going into May 1st. The DPS did call in a crew at midnight to start checking all the pump stations as well as the retention basin to see their functionality, and they check those every 2 hours. A second crew was then called in around 3 in the morning to start checking on flooded basements, and a third crew was brought in at 5 a.m. as additional backup for both checking the system as well as checking on flooded basements as well. Based on the physically checking all of the 9 pump stations as well as the retention basin and checking the mission control system that we can monitor from the retention basin, everything was running as it should be. In total, and each station has multiple pumps, so in total there's about 23 pumps within the system. Most of the stations have 3 pumps, there's backup. Everything was running as it should be, based on the mission information that we received and everything that we physically checked. When the system does have excess flows, the Lincoln and Emmons pump stations, which are your 2 largest pump stations, divert all that excess flow to the retention basin on the east end of the city. It's actually in the city Ecorse limits. There's storage capacity there of 20.5 million gallons there. We reached that limit during the storm event, and at I believe it was 4 a.m. on Wednesday, we started bypass pumping to the Ecorse Creek. That lasted until 3 in the afternoon the next day that we had to bypass pump, and we did notify the Department of Environmental Quality in regards to that. The storage of that sewage in the retention basin has to be kept there until we get approval from Wayne County to discharge that, which I don't have the time as far as, I believe it was on Thursday that we were then allowed to start discharging into the River Drive Interceptor. The River Drive Interceptor most likely was surcharged during the event, and we had to wait to get approval from Wayne County in order to start to open up the valve and discharge from the retention basin. Other than that, I guess I don't have anything else as far as this.
How does the water find its way into people's basements?
So basically the sewers they're surcharged. They can't handle the amount of flow that's coming into the system, and because of that, over time, it will start to back up into the system. Especially if you have footing drains connected into your home as well. That water will start to back up if the sewer system is surcharged.
Now, there are ways of testing to see that these pumps were in operation at that particular time?
There are ways to check on that, and we will be doing some further testing as well, just to confirm that everything was working properly, but it appears that it was.
At the retention basin, there are how many pumps?
There are 6 pumps there, 5 that run, and there's 1 backup. All 6 were running at one time there.
But 6 is one that,
Yep.
the 6 is one that needs to be manually turned on.
That one does, yes. Everything in the system is automatic except for that 6th pump in the retention treatment basin, and that was manually started.
And that was turned on at the start of
Yes,
the event?
yes.
Okay, Ryan, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chair,
Well, go ahead.
I just want to ask one question.
All right.
Not only did we bypass and dump into the creek, the main Wyandotte treatment plant also was bypassing the Detroit River.
That I have not heard that at all, but I know my understanding is they were getting close to it, so.
Everybody got nailed,
Well,
including
yeah.
the
Right.
main treatment plant.
And that's the design, that's so that.
Right.
Release that water so it does not come
Right.
back at us.
And I guess, just briefly on the street flood, like I said, you've got a separate system for the storm. You had a lot of street flooding as well. The Ecorse Creek overflowed immediately, and that's why the water, the street flooding was attributed to that, and that did come down later in the day, but you had to wait for all that water from Dearborn Heights, Romulus, Taylor, that's all coming this way down the Ecorse Creek, so it took some time to get that water to get downstream.
Okay. Thank you, and if you would stay again through citizen communications, appreciate that, just to
Yeah.
answer any questions that they may have.
No problem.
Now, if Fire Chief Steve Martin could come up. Over the past probably a year, we've been working on our emergency preparedness plan, and we just most recently completed the first part of that, and I'm drawing a blank on what that requirement was. And then less than a month later, we're putting that part into operations. Chief Martin was handed the emergency management role, and ladies and gentlemen, through this whole system that we had, he did an absolutely admirable job, just making sure that everything was going. He won't say it, but he was in here at, one of the people that were in here at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he spent many hours here overseeing and doing this. We were fortunate, we had the assistance of Mike Parr, who does this, I think, partially for a living,
Right.
as that, and he was able to advise us. But I'll let the chief take it over from there.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to give the citizens kind of a brief overview of behind the scenes, how we manage this incident. It's not always visible to you guys how we handle an incident like that. Recently, the City of Lincoln Park has been focusing on making improvements to its emergency management system. On Wednesday morning, May 1st, the emergency management team was called upon to put these improvements in practice. Just after 3 a.m., the Downriver Dispatch Center began to receive numerous calls of significant flooding in basements after several hours of heavy rainfall. After the reports of residential flooding combined with significant street and intersection flooding, several department heads were called in, and verification was made that the pump stations were all working properly to deal with the large volume of water. Unfortunately, due to the amount of water that fell in such a short amount of time, sewer systems in multiple cities were overwhelmed, including Lincoln Park. City management was notified, and the Emergency Operations Center, which is comprised of all heads of department, was activated. The Lincoln Park Police Department and CERT team controlled traffic in major intersections and heavily flooded main roads. The DPS monitored pump stations and began verifying reports of basement flooding. The building department was mobilized to prepare for damage assessment, and the fire department continued to respond to flooded homes, shutting off power and gas supply in heavily flooded basements. The determination was made by the EOC that we were quickly exceeding our resources, and the Wayne County Department of Homeland Security was contacted to inform them of the damage and to ask for assistance for damage assessment and traffic control devices. Later that morning, Mayor Carnes quickly declared a state of emergency within the city of Lincoln Park, allowing for full use of all city resources to deal with the flooding as quickly as possible. Information was also disseminated to all local and media news outlets as well as social media platforms to inform and direct residents to contact City Hall to file sewer backup claim forms. Arrangements were also made to conduct special curbside garbage pickup to all residents affected by the flooding, and all garbage-related citations were suspended. Damage assessment teams comprised of the building department, code enforcement officers, and Lincoln Park CERT team members and others from as far as Birmingham and Inkster all banded together to cover as much ground in the shortest amount of time possible in order to assist the citizens. The next day, after several cities began to report the amount of damage verified within their cities, Wayne County and later Governor Whitmer both declared states of emergency in Wayne County, and resource requests began to be filled. Although no response can ever be quick enough when citizens experience an event like this, the City of Lincoln Park has and will continue to be diligent in processing all claims requests and provide assistance to all residents. But we want to caution everyone that this is not a quick process. Once updated reports are relayed to the Michigan State Police, information will be forwarded to the governor, who will forward it to FEMA, which may activate further damage assessments by FEMA personnel. After that, it will be evaluated for forwarding to the President of the United States if they feel that it's warranted. Currently, the county is working to coordinate multiple agency resource centers to set up to assist flood victims with any questions or resources they may need. Details regarding the resource centers will be made available as soon as they are confirmed.
For the meetings again, I think you call them marks.
Multi-agency resource center or MARC, correct?
So they will be at the band shell, 3240 Ferris.
Right, it is To this point, nothing's been confirmed definitively, so I didn't want to announce it, but yeah, we're going to try to hold
Well, I
one.
will then.
All right. It'll be at the Kennedy Memorial Building Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, so Wednesday tentatively, the time would be from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
10 to 5, and then 1
And
to 7 on
Wednesday-
Thursday.
Yeah, Wednesday will go to 7 p.m. So
Wednesday-
basically, what this is one-stop shopping as far as where people can see all the resources that may be available to them.
Correct. If I could just correct you, it was 10 to 5 on Wednesday, 1 to 7 on Thursday.
Okay. I'm good with that. And then you mentioned that with the county, I think that through that first part and through Congresswoman Debbie Dingell that called, and we used this location here as the meeting to have Wayne County, Michigan State Police, and various legislatures from the area.
Correct.
And representatives of the cities that were involved to get all that information. Councilman Kelsey was there also.
Correct.
That particular time. Now, we did make a specific request to Michigan State Police and to the county for a service. Can
Right,
you relay that?
we asked for damage assessment personnel that could come help verify claims more quickly, and then also traffic control devices, the orange barrels with the lights that everybody hates, to divert traffic away from the flooded intersections.
In addition to that, there were infrastructure things that we were asking them to,
Right, we want our the bridges, just have engineers come and take a look at them to make sure no damage was done to them.
as a significant amount of water was going down, particularly in the Austin one where where the creek overflowed its banks onto Austin's and the surrounding homes there. We didn't know if that type of force would cause structural damage to this. And by the county declaring a state of emergency and the state also, we were able to hook in and have this checked for us.
Right. The DPS director was directed to take pictures over the next 2 days and send them to the county, and then they're going to send somebody out to verify.
We had, the last meeting of the EOC, of course, so far was at 3 p.m. today, and we discussed that there were over 500 homes that were,
Yes, so far there's been 500 claims filed.
and we're still looking for additional claims to come in. We want to get an accurate picture of this as possible. At the high school, we made announcements today, and we'll be doing it again tomorrow, to reach those students to tell their parents in case they have not made a report with this. Because all this has to be done within 45 days, but the information on the original part had to be in by what?
We had to have it in by 10 o'clock this morning to the county so they can forward it to the governor and then down
And it
the
all
chain.
starts in going towards this information being sent to the president for possibility that it becomes a national disaster.
Right,
But
right.
we will continue to take this information, and we encourage you to come forward. But this isn't about claims just yet. This is about assessment.
Right.
I want to touch on the building department, who has been a wonder in this. They've come up with, I think it was 3 separate teams that were out and immediately going through and going to the homes that were involved. And with the volunteers that you mentioned, and particularly with the fine job that CERT did for us too, because they're not to be downplayed in any stretch of the imagination. They were trained to go out and to do the assessments in the home, along with our ordinance officers and the volunteers that you mentioned. And with these teams, by the end of today, they were already at over 350 of the homes with
Correct.
with an initial check on that, which I think that is phenomenal. And they're up to most of the ones that have been called in for us.
Right.
And they're continuing to do so. Mr. Myers couldn't be here today, but and then we'll be doing more assessments after they come back after that.
Right.
Now, the EOC met multiple times during this event,
2 to 3 times every day.
okay, including a 6 o'clock in the morning one that I, during when all that was happening.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. All right. Chief, I'd ask you to remain through citizen communications when questions come up, and then we'll talk to that. But I, again, appreciate your efforts. I think that you did a yeoman's job in that, not woman's job.
Thank you, Mayor.
And we have some resources that are available to residents that have people to come forward. When you think of help in any type of disaster situation, the people that you normally go to and think about are the Red Cross. And so we have a representative for the Red Cross, Carrie Reynes, that speak for a moment.
Yeah, hi, I'm Carrie Reynes from the American Red Cross, and we are here to help support you however we can in regards to the flood. We will be dispersing and have dispersed cleanup kits, bleach, shovels, gloves, garbage bags, all of those things that are supplies and materials that are needed in order for you to help clean up from the mess. And I'm happy to meet with any of you afterwards and get your information. We're going to have mobile distribution of emergency supplies available for over the next couple days. You can also find us, you can dial 1-800-RED Cross, or you can go online at redcross.org. And I also want to say, once your CERT teams are done, or those of you that have volunteered for the city, if you would come volunteer with us, because this is the county of Wayne, and we are also doing damage assessment and are in need of either full-time regular volunteers on a regular basis or just for this flood event. We would welcome you. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. And you're going to be in the foyer in case people want to have questions for you or look for the resources, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much. And then the last few days, we heard of a new group that reached out to us, and it's Lorenzo Torres. Is that all right? Lorenzo is part of Samaritan's Purse, and I'll let him explain what's going on with that.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council and citizens of Lincoln Park. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about Samaritan's Purse first. Samaritan's Purse is a non-denominational Christian relief organization. We've been responding to disasters around the world since 1970. In the mid-1990s, we started U.S. Disaster Relief, where we respond to floods, wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes around the nation. What we do, we mobilize volunteers from around the nation to come into the local community to serve people who have been affected by disasters. Then the other thing we do is we partner with local churches and local volunteers as well, so that way we can partner with everybody in the community. So it's a good cohesive unit when we go out and serve people. Things that we're doing for folks here in Lincoln Park is we are doing for homeowners. We'll go in and assess a home, evaluate what their needs are. We'll help remove wet damaged belongings from the home for the homeowner. We'll also help salvage personal belongings for the homeowner. And if there is a need to remove paneling, sheetrock, floor material like carpeting or vinyl flooring, we'll help remove that as well. And then we'll clean everything up the best we can. And then we also do a mold suppression and sanitizing treatment to the home. We are seeing a lot of basement flooding. We haven't seen any main level flooding yet, but we are serving the citizens of Lincoln Park. If there's folks at home who are not here, I got a phone number coming at you. That phone number is 313-230-8721. Again, that phone number is 313-230-8721. That's our homeowner hotline number, so if people need help, they can call that phone number as well. We're also located, right now we're set up at Family Christian Church at 4380 West Jefferson Avenue in Ecorse, so people can come by our disaster response unit as well to fill out a work order request. And that it's a very quick and simple process. It only takes a few minutes to do an intake. We'll also have volunteers out in the foyer to answer questions for folks who might need assistance, and we also have flyers available. One thing I did forget to mention is rental properties. We do treat rentals a little bit differently, but we will assist renters at the renter's request. We'll help remove personal belongings and salvage what we can and spray that property as well for them. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be out in the foyer.
Okay, yes, and he has agreed to be in the foyer. If there is anyone here that wants additional information from him, we will be putting your hotline on our website and our Facebook page. And we appreciate you coming forward. Now, there's no charge to the residents for these items, correct?
That is correct, sir. Everything we do is for free. There is no cost at all.
Okay. And so we appreciate you coming forward with that.
Yes,
And then,
sir.
Again, you'll be in the lobby. Now, pictured on there with the initial reports that we got of the flooding, you can see that it is fairly citywide. It's hard to make out the color aspect of it, but the zeros or the light green would be no damage. And what was the other? Yellow, which you can't see, would be 1 damage, and 2 would be pretty severe. I've seen pictures where there were flooding about 2-3 feet in people's basements, so we know that this is really a tremendous thing, terrible thing that happened. So again, we had over 500 homes. This past Saturday, there was a curbside pickup to which we were attempted to get a lot of the items that were gone, to the point of 20 trucks worked 10 to 11 hours and picked up approximately 250 tons of debris. This coming week, Saturday, we will be doing this again. We asked folks that if your regular days are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, do not put these items out that were flood damaged until Thursday or Friday for collection. Or if you do put them out, get them out of the home, just understand that those items won't be picked up during your regular trash collection, but they will be picked up on that Saturday as they go by. Some people may be getting information from other folks handing out cards saying that they would pick up the stuff and take it from their basements and such. I would be very leery about anybody going door to door wanting to do things, particularly with this. If you have people that come by and want to do something structural to your home, whether it be replacing a wall or saying that you need to have different things done onto your basement, verify this, because by getting a permit with the city, they will look at that and see if that is something that is reasonable. They're not looking to have our citizens taken advantage of, and that's where our building department will be on the lookout for you with that. Now, if you can also have those items out for dumping Thursday night and Friday, because what will happen is our trash hauler will be making a canvas of the city to see how many trucks they will need to have for Saturday. So if you can do that, that will give us a good idea of how much will be picked up, it will be needed to be picked up. We talked to the Simple Recycling folks that where you can get the orange bag and put clothing out. It was used clothing and such. They said that items that were in the flood, you would be able to put them inside of those orange bags if you choose, but the only requirement that they have is that the items need to be dry when they take it, because otherwise they would be suffering from mold and those things. If that's not the case, if it's wet, then you just put it in the trash bag out in front of the house. When somebody comes by and they're looking to pick the different things out there, whether it be pickers or trying to pick up the trash, those circumstances, I want you to call the police department and report them. They have no business going on and picking that up. You need a specific license in order to pick up any trash in town. But specifically now, with the items that you take from your basements and put out there, and what the horrors that I get are for baby items that are put out like cradles and such, then are done, taken and turned over and put in yard sale, and then family members will then utilize that, not knowing that this has been involved in a flood and could be infectious. So take precaution with that, and if you see it, please call the police department at the regular number. Now with that, I think that we will move on to the regular meeting, if I can find it. I don't have something for the consent. tea.
What's scary is, I live in Michigan.
All right. Resolved that the following items listed on the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and city council. 1, approved minutes, regular meeting held Tuesday, April 15, 2019. 2, approved minutes, special meeting held April 17, 2019, RE Assessing Services. 3, approved minutes, special meeting held April 29, 2019, RE Assessing Services. 4, accept minutes, study session held April 29, 2019, RE Fiscal Year 2019-2020 budget. 5, participation residential rehab. 6, participation residential rehab. 7, participation residential rehab emergency sewer repair. 8, reappointments. A, Community Improvement Commission, PLO. B, Dangerous Building Board, Leader. C, Historical Commission, Clark. D, Parks and Recreation Commission, Bear. E, Planning Commission, Grazik. 9, attend training Police Department. 10, solicit bids renovation 1534 Wilson. 11, solicit bids phone system. And 12, charitable solicitation VFW poppy sale.
Support.
Discussion?
Your Honor, I do. I sent an email to Doreen because the first participation residential rehab,
We need to take that off. That name is off. She called me.
She
We
did?
talked about that. Yeah, that was somebody that had appeared on a previous resolution that,
Right.
that they made a mistake on.
the
So we're
letter,
gonna
yeah,
take
the
that.
cover letter was for one. but
Number
the-
5, on
yeah.
number 5, we're going to remove the name Longini off of that resolution because they were actually already approved. Longini, the top one.
Top one.
Okay. That will reflect that. We need to make, they need to agree with that under their motions?
Fine with me. Fine with
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Is this the same one? I get with the program here. All right, first action item is resolution appointing Robert A. Brazeau, assessor for the city of Lincoln Park, and authorizing the mayor to execute the employment contract. So we have a cover letter that, as discussed at the special meeting of the mayor and council on April 29, 2019, I, City Manager Matt Copper, have prepared the necessary resolutions to appoint Robert A. Brazeau as assessor for the city of Lincoln Park and setting the wage scale for the assessing tech. That part. As assessor for the city of Lincoln Park. The appointments will be the first step in creating the Lincoln Park and Melvindale assessing collaboration. Over the course of the next 2 months, we'll be working with the city of Melvindale to develop the service level agreement for the collaborative and prepare the necessary resolutions for both cities to approve. We anticipate that the collaborative will be operational in its final form by July 1, 2019. But for now, there's one action necessary. First, the appointment of Robert Brazeau as assessor for the city of Lincoln Park. Mr. Brazeau is a level 3 assessor, has worked in the assessing field since 1980. He more recently has been working in Dundee, Michigan, Erie Township, Michigan. And he's willing to reduce his price from $135,000 to $114,750 per year. He will be an employee of the city based upon an employee contact. So the resolution, whereas mayor and council have reviewed options related to providing comprehensive assessing services for the city, including bringing the services in-house, a contracted service, and a collaborative model with the city of Melvindale. And whereas mayor and council wish to pursue a collaborative model with the city of Melvindale because it provides the highest level of service to the residents of the city, affords flexibility to assessing operations in both Lincoln Park and Melvindale, and a shared service approach provides the most cost-effective solution for assessing operations. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the city of Lincoln Park appoint Robert A. Brazeau as assessor for the city of Lincoln Park, and be it further resolved that Mayor Thomas C. Carnes is authorized to execute an employment agreement with Robert A. Brazeau for part-time employment as assessor for the city of Lincoln Park. Said agreement shall be effective May 1, 2019, and expire June 30th, 2021.
So move.
Support.
Okay, discussion. Mr. Copper, you want to start with this?
We've been in conversation actually a number of times on Friday and today as well with the city administrator of Melvindale. They are committed to move forward. I think they may have already taken action to appoint Mr. Brazeau as their assessor. And if council approves this tonight, I'll be meeting with Mr. Ortiz from Melvindale tomorrow to start the finalization of what that service agreement is going to look like between the city of Melvindale and Lincoln Park. But at this point, I think, my feelings have evolved quite a bit in the last couple of weeks on this, and believe that if council moves forward with the collaborative of Melvindale, I think it'll be a very good thing long-term for the city of Lincoln Park. I did have a conversation late today with the Michigan Treasury, and they are very interested in our project and would like to see us move to potentially including some other cities if we start moving forward. And so that is something that we've already had some discussion about that with another city, but it's probably not going to be until next year that we would see any interest from them because they have a contract. But I think this provides and affords the city a lot of flexibility in hiring an assessor and creating a department with a lot of depth so we don't run into issues where we don't have coverage. And for the city of Melvindale, it provides a lot higher level of service than what they've been seeing the last few years in their offices. So I think overall it's a very solid plan that we have, and will work for the city.
Okay, further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Oh, sorry.
I do.
Okay.
How long is the contract going to be?
2021.
So
what we'll do with that, and I'm trying to finalize in amongst all the emergency management meetings, trying to finalize what that contract looks like, and I'll have it tomorrow. But my intention is to have it a one-year contract with mutual renewal. Understanding that this is an appointment that you're making, so this individual is going to be our employee, and so it's going to be covered by all the things that the city has the right to do in terms of employment. So it will allow us to, for cause, remove that individual based upon, again, a good reason. But what we would be looking at is a 2-year, and what I want to try to do is get it on a schedule close to what the normal appointment is for mayor and council for employees. And so it wouldn't be this year, it'd be next year. So there's still a little bit of fine tuning with that to figure out how to get that done. But I would like to get it on the regular schedule with everyone else.
And that would be, go ahead.
I was going to say Melvindale would follow the same dates.
Yeah, I mean, effectively what will happen is that the employees, if not all the employees, most of the employees of the collaborative will be Lincoln Park employees. And so we'll be reimbursed for their time through the collaborative. And so that's, again, another issue is that we have the employment agreement, but we also have then the service level agreement that we're going to be doing. And that may be for a longer period of time, maybe a 5-year collaborative agreement rather than a 2-year. But again, we'd be responsible for providing that assessor during that time frame.
I think I still feel like we should go with WCA. That's just my...
Okay, further discussion?
Yeah, question through the chair. Matt, you mentioned the fact that the state was very happy. Are they happy to give us a grant? I mean, obviously, you know, the state's been pushing this for, I don't know how many years I've been on council about collaborative and, you know, raising the banner and speaking the speech. But, you know, I'm just wondering, I mean, this obviously is going to take on a life of its own if we're talking about one and then possibly, depends how this goes. I was just wondering if the state was any kind of support from them as we go down this road, because collaborative is a little bit different than a lot of communities have been doing in the past. And there might be some roadblocks or financial issues that we're not looking at. Obviously, they're aware of it. You just said, are they aware of it enough to, you know, put some kind of teeth behind the aware of?
Yeah, so this, today's conversation is one of a few that I've had with them on this particular subject. I think today's conversation was more towards that end, I think, than the previous conversations I've had. You know, obviously, we have let them know, you know, our belief about what they should be doing to help us out through all this. I think the challenge is that when they look at the collaboration for assessing, they want to see, you know, everything merged, and we're not anywhere close to merging anything. And from their perspective, it'd be like we would have one board for review. I don't think Melvindale's ready for that. I don't believe we're ready for that. I think at some point, if we find this is working really well, that it makes sense to start those type of mergers. But we have a ways to go to get there. So our point is that we may never get there if we don't have help financially to help, you know, ease the transition. And part of the transition is just the way that the market has been for us. I mean, our pricing on assessing has been well below what the market rate has been. For whatever reason, we've had a very good deal. And now we're experiencing what the market really says that cost is, unfortunately. But again, I'm optimistic because I'm always optimistic. I think we can make a very compelling case. And like I said, based upon the conversation today, I think they understand the potential of what this could be for a number of the communities that's been impacted and they've been in here in the last few years. And it would help to get, you know, help nurture this along. So there's still a lot of work I have to do, but we'll see how it goes.
Thank you.
Further discussion on the council? There was a citizen. You're limited to 3 minutes, sir.
Mayor and Council, just a question on this.
You need to identify yourself.
Joe Kaiser, Lincoln Park. Is Tony, the assessor now, is he resigning or are we throwing him out?
He's retiring.
He's retired. Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you.
Okay. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
No.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next resolution, I believe we may have some folks that wish to speak on this. I'm just reminding of the guidelines for a resolution that is out there, which people would be allowed to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. So it's a resolution to adopt an ordinance to amend the municipal code of the city of Lincoln Park by adding a new chapter, business regulations, entitled Prohibition of Marijuana Establishments. Attached, Mayor and Council will find a resolution that amends city codes, and this is from our city manager, within the boundaries of the city of Lincoln Park, marijuana establishments within the city of Lincoln Park. As you may recall, with the passage of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act in 2018, cities within Michigan must pass an ordinance to prohibit marijuana establishments if they wish to opt out. Because the state of Michigan has not yet adopted rules that will provide regulatory oversight of these business establishments, city staff recommends that mayor and council opt out at this time. Once the rules are in place, we can then determine the proper course for the city to take, and you can decide if you want to allow these establishments. Does this? Thank you. As whereas the mayor and city council wish to amend the city code to prohibit any and all marijuana establishments within the boundaries of the city of Lincoln Park. Now there be it resolved that an ordinance to amend the municipal code of the city of Lincoln Park by adding a new chapter, 855 to Title II, Business Regulations, entitled Prohibition of Marijuana Establishments, be given its first and second reading by title only. The city of Lincoln Park ordains that Title II of the codified ordinances of the city of Lincoln Park be and is hereby amended by adding a new chapter, 855.
Support.
Okay, and then discussion.
Your Honor, I'd like to state and remind everybody that the voters have spoke not once but twice quite clearly on this subject. That the first they voted they want the medical marijuana to be legal in Lincoln Park. It passed overwhelmingly. Then they voted for recreation marijuana. The voters voted in Lincoln Park overwhelmingly to make this legal. I do not think that as a body that sits here, we should ignore the voters. I also know that looking at we are looking at an industry that wants to invest in Lincoln Park. I do believe that we would have to look at the zoning issues and we have to proceed carefully, but turning our backs on what could be an investment, millions into Lincoln Park, and turning our back on what could be a big increase in taxes, money coming into our Lincoln Park when we are at the financial situation that we are just coming out of would be a very bad thing to do. And I will leave it at, and I'd also like to point out, because crime and the police have been brought up on this subject in the past by members of this body, I'd like to note that I have seen several studies, and I know that by visiting in Colorado, where it has been legal for a while now, crime rates in the neighborhoods where these establishments have happened, crime rate has gone down. So I just would like to say that we need to take a serious look and listen to the voters.
I understand. As the mayor, I'm cognizant of the election, what they've voted to approve for the last two elections, both the medicinal and then for the recreational use of marijuana. My concern with this is that the House doesn't have its, the State House, State Senate, the state does not have its house in order here. We don't know what we're getting into, what the total regulations are, and it's like entering into a place blind. And that's my main concern with this whole process at this particular time. The way that the law works that I'm understanding of is that the city can change its mind at any given time in the future, that we can choose to opt in at any given time. Now, it may be that we lose on initial business people that wanted to come and to support and to build in Lincoln Park, but it's my view, until I know exactly what it is that we're getting into, that I'm hesitant to approve that. So that's just my view on that.
And I understand that, and I appreciate that, but it's also, we don't have to approve anything as far as allowing anybody in until the state moves first, but we don't have to say no either.
Okay.
Through the chair?
Yes.
I agree with Councilman Higgins. You know, the citizens have voted enough times, Councilman Higgins, they voted no city manager, no emergency manager. Boom, we got one. They voted no bridge. Boom, we got one. But the state has taken over so much of the city's business that, okay, you say if we opt out now, what's to say if the state writes the regulations, that if we opted out already, we're out permanently. I don't think we need to give the state any leverage over the city. And the people have voted. You know, that's just the way it is.
Well, the council voted to bring in the emergency manager, though.
Yeah, but the people voted to not approve city managers or emergency managers at all.
Yes, I understand.
So, and the governor changed one word in his title, and bam, there he was. So,
I got you.
you can't ignore the people that vote. I'm on this council, and you're a mayor because the people voted for you. If they didn't vote for you, then you wouldn't be here. Well, they voted for this law, and I believe we should opt in on it.
I'd be home. Oh, never, okay. Further discussion by council?
Yes, I'd like to speak on this.
Sure.
I was on the council when the medical marijuana was voted in by the city by a large vote. We went down to and I think most of the people either remember or they were on council at that time, some weren't, some were. We went down to the band shell and had an open forum, and there was like 3 citizens that went down there, some for and some against. And we decided not to have medical marijuana dispensaries. Well, that's why we don't have any here. So it's not we didn't listen to the citizens. We as elected leaders did what we should be doing. So if your comment's correct, then the medical marijuana, we'd have dispensaries all over the place because the citizens voted overwhelmingly. Yet when the council took the direction the other way, there was no problem with the citizens. They had no problem getting their medical marijuana. That's a fact. It's a matter of record. The other thing is that the state has had a problem with, and it's been in the paper more than once, and it's been on the news more than once, and it's been lawsuited by the, quote, non-licensed participants that keep suing the state and pushing back the regulations so that they can't get everybody licensed the way they're supposed to, and that's a fact. The other thing is that there's been some paper if you look at the newspaper, there's a big article in there put out by a cannabis association about the fact that they're all against this illegal, asking the state to stop these illegal dispensaries and illegal things from putting out cannabis that's not tested by the state, because the state hasn't done that. So there is a lot of discussion, and I disagree with the fact that we run into something where some of the rules you can't ignore it. It's obvious there's a problem someplace. That's my point anyway.
Can I answer that?
Well, hold on just 1 second. Folks, in the audience, everyone will be given an opportunity to speak, but citizen communication on this starts after discussion from council. So we have, go ahead, but then Mr. Copler has some answers to questions that were submitted to him, so go ahead.
During Prohibition, you couldn't serve alcohol. They get rid of Prohibition and you can serve alcohol with a license. The city has to approve a license. I'm sure that it's going to be the same way with us handing out the licenses to different people, and I want it to be us, not the state. Because if we don't want it in this community, we don't have to approve licenses. So it's simple enough. If we have the control of licenses and the state doesn't have its hand in our business, we're better off.
Through the chair, Mr. Mayor, before Mr. Coupler gives his comments, I'd like to speak on this issue also.
Sure, go ahead.
Sure. Once again, on March 11th, the residents of Lincoln Park, we had a town hall meeting right here in council chambers. According to my notes, we had approximately 28 people in attendance. 12 people spoke in favor, 4 spoke twice in favor, and according to my notes also, 2 people spoke against it. On November 6th, the voters overwhelmingly voted 7,654 to 3,967. The residents have spoken. I've been in Myers, I've been in all the stores downriver, I've been up and down talking to people. It's been a mixed bag. As you see, I respect our council's dialogue here. There'd be a 10% excess tax on this. A lot of this money would come to the municipality of Lincoln Park. Infrastructure and transportation. Look at our infrastructure. We just had 500 houses flooded, right? Maybe we need more revenue, okay? This will not go away. When people buy a bottle of liquor or cigarettes, I take it that they're responsible enough to be responsible and go home and take care of it. If they buy marijuana, I expect them to be responsible about it. So my last comment on this is I believe, once again, the voters voted for 18-1, and I'm going to leave it to Mr. Copler to give his comments.
Well, Mr. Copler is answering questions that were submitted to him by Councilwoman Ross, so for the benefit that he didn't get an opportunity to answer, so he might as well answer for the benefit of all of council.
Yes. The first question was the resolution for tonight. She wanted to clarify that it will prohibit both medical and recreational businesses. This is only for the recreational side, because the medical is taken care of by another law that council opted out, opted in to opt out. I can't remember how that worked back then. But so that law was not adopted by council, so this only affects recreational businesses. Do we have a medical marijuana business ordinance already? So the first set of medical marijuana laws that were put in place is what the mayor and council at that time put out the business licensing for. So it's for the very narrowly defined growing that that's mayor and council allow inside the city, and zoning restricts it only on Papless Drive. And so there's only been one license that's been issued on that, and that was on Papless Drive. It can operate, although I don't think it is anymore, but it can operate, but only under that set of laws. So this new law would if you didn't adopt what is before you tonight, we'd go about, redoing the zoning and the licensing to allow for different types of marijuana business. I think we'll probably have to have a study session if you do that to kind of get an understanding of what mayor and council wants to do if you do not adopt the changes tonight. And I believe I answered all the questions. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Further discussion from council?
One more question. City manager, so what you're saying is we're as unprepared as the state when it comes to this marijuana thing?
I don't believe that at all. I mean,
Well-
there's a lot of decisions that as mayor and council you have to make before we can finalize.
So if we adopt
that.
it though, then you're saying we'll have to redo everything we have?
No, if you adopt this tonight, we won't have to do anything until you decide, and preferably after the state tells us what the rules are going to be. We would be able to sit down with you and tell you, if you wanted to change that, what the law would look like for that.
Then you'd be able to decide how many establishments and such, and where you would want them to be at. Is that correct?
That's what I want, is to be in control of the licenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be what the circumstances would be. Anything further from council?
If I could, Your Honor?
Yeah.
I just want to add that this is not something that we've taken lightly. We've gotten recommendations, we've done I believe our due diligence in researching and getting all the information that we possibly could. So I understand that the voters voted, but they also I believe, it's my opinion, that they voted to have marijuana legally in their homes. They want to smoke it. But did they vote to actually have a store in our city? I don't think they did. I think they left that up to us to do the research and vote properly.
Okay, anything further from council?
Yeah, I'd like to clear through the chair.
Yes, sir.
If I'm not mistaken, if the states give somebody a license, we still have to license them to allow them in our city, am I correct? So they can't automatically give them a license when they come in there and start doing their business and say, I got a license from the state, here I am, and we're going to do business. They still have to get us to give them a license, am I correct?
They cannot without council action.
Thank you.
to
Just want to
approve
clarify that.
that. Okay.
So what we're saying is, if we don't vote for this, and, or we do vote for this, I'm sorry, if we do vote for this, and somebody wants to invest in the city, we're gonna tell them we don't want their investment, go someplace else. So then when the state does finalize all their conditions and decides that they want to move ahead, they've already spent their money buying buildings someplace else. And the 200 empty buildings we have in Lincoln Park will stay empty.
That's a possibility. Is there further discussion from council?
Yes, I got another comment, because I think if you look around, I don't know where they're going to go. Most of the cities have opted out, and that's a matter of record. You can go and check on the free. Most of them opted out for the same reason we're talking about. So I'd just like to make that point. It's not just because we don't want it, they're going to go someplace. They're going to have a ways to go, because a lot of cities are not opting in right now because of that. Thank you.
Okay, anything further from council? Then we'll open up to citizen communications. The rule with citizen communication is you don't have to raise your hand, folks. It's going to be when the podium is open, just go ahead. There are some guidelines with that, and one is that you identify yourself, and then once you do that, you'll be able to speak on this issue, but you will be limited to 3 minutes.
I have to say something. Philbert Varner, I'm a citizen here, and I'm also on the council of the Lincoln Park Building Commission, okay? And it's illegal to have marijuana in the building, in our buildings there, because it's illegal by the federal government, and HUD is the administrator of the money. So they can't have they cannot smoke marijuana in the building, in the towers over there. And I disagree with Mr. Higgins when he said that they don't have a problem in Denver. They do. In the last report they did. They got more crime in the neighborhoods now that they're trying to figure out what to do. So anyway, I don't agree with it. So.
Good evening, Reverend Tracy Dupre. If we prohibit the marijuana, I would like to know what the council then plans on doing to create revenue for the city, as we are very poor. I just don't understand why it's that hard. They do continue to change the state rules, but to be able to, well, the last time we spoke, when we had the study session, I was told that we were going to be checking with River Rouge Police about the crime rates and the housing values and whatnot. And I happen to have an inside person, and the crime rate is down. Property values are up. The Jefferson looks fantastic. It's clean. Go up 4th Street. I walked Southfield to Outer Drive. I saw 13 rats falling down buildings and just horrific. How are we going to fix that? I mean, I don't know of any other plan, so why would we turn down the revenue? And yes, the surrounding cities have done that. So let's take the opportunity to do something with our city. We need to look forward, or everybody here is going to be renters, because I know, I'm out. So, thank you.
Jason Bear, a resident, Parks and Recreation Commission, and I'm a member of the Hands of the City Lincoln Park organization group. And as has been repeated already by some members of council, it's the cities that decide to get in on the ground floor will reap the most benefit from the marijuana industry that is currently pretty much brand new to Michigan. I don't see any other industry growing up or cropping up that's going to come into Lincoln Park and provide the kind of opportunity that marijuana businesses would. At the study session, there were several residents that said they were interested in opening businesses for marijuana, and that should be music to everyone's ears. We want local residents to own local businesses because that keeps the money in the city of Lincoln Park. We have plenty of places for them to go. And you're right, the state hasn't come up with the rules yet. They've put out like mid-June as a quasi-target or whatnot. But even with not having the state rules out, the statute itself gives us as the local municipality all the control in the world over which type of facilities, how many of the facilities, and where they can go. With those safeguards in place, I have no idea why we would even think about opting out. It's not like voting to opt in is just going to let them waltz into a city and do whatever they want. The statute itself says they have to go through the local city council. And that's the biggest reason why we should vote against this opt-out and let them opt in. We want them to invest in Lincoln Park. And the benefits of marijuana has been fighting a stigma for over 100 years, probably some very powerful, big money special interests. It's the drug companies, it's the for-profit prison systems. I've been told that Lincoln Park is on the cutting edge of the opioid crisis, and I was thrilled to hear that. Well, as a state, legalizing marijuana is the best step they could take to combat that. Because the other thing that comes out of Colorado is a giant reduction in pain medication prescriptions that get issued, because marijuana is not chemically addictive like those painkillers, like those drug companies lied to us about. They knew they were addictive, and they're pretty much acted as a legalized drug dealer when they pushed all those pills on us. Marijuana is so beneficial to so many people, and as far as the public safety, marijuana will never do as much damage as two very hard drugs that are very legal in alcohol and nicotine. Alcoholism, cancer, cigarettes, the whole, who hasn't been at a family barbecue? Thank you for your time, council.
Good evening, Mayor and council men and women. My name is Bill Heisler. I'm a homeowner here in Lincoln Park. I've never been here before, so thank you for having me. But the biggest thing I see here, there's a huge amount of revenue for this city, which I'm sure you guys all know. Everybody else around here has denied this and turned it down, okay? If we're the first city to look into it more, not deny it now, and look into it, there's everything that I've heard here today, from there's no testing, things like that. There are labs that test it. You guys can force whatever business that you decide to let in, have them labs and everything be tested right there. On top of that, you have people coming from across Outer Drive, coming over here and doing all types of bad things. I live right here by BC's Pizza, okay? So I see the traffic coming from Detroit, and I see traffic going over to Detroit. I don't personally know what they're doing, but I feel like if there is an establishment where we can get our medicine here in Lincoln Park, it's gonna be a lot safer for everybody, okay? On top of that, sorry, I had a few notes here as I was standing in line. Lincoln Park, when I was growing up, I grew up in New Boston. Lincoln Park was a beautiful city to come to. Now, that was a long time ago. But I feel like we can make this city beautiful again. There's a lot of ways, and this is one of the greatest because nobody else around here is doing it, okay? I can't drive down my road without hitting 15,000 potholes. It's unbelievable how bad the roads are in this city. This can help. There's a lot of things that can help. If we don't have the money to make our beautiful city beautiful again, this is an option. And I'm not saying you have to say yes tonight or anything like that, but I highly think there needs to be more thought because aren't we the gateway to the downriver? Well, let's be the first one. Let's be the gateway for this. And let's figure out a way to make it work. When nobody else could, Lincoln Park could. That's all I have. ISLER.
Hi again, Mayor and Council, Joe Kaiser. I got a question on, did everyone get a copy of the resolution? It says right here that you're going to eliminate all marijuana establishments. We're already approved for medical marijuana on Pappas Drive. It's been approved. So it was never not approved. It's been approved to go on Pappas Drive, period. So you want to eliminate that ordinance, the way I read it, by passing this ordinance.
It's my understanding that any business that was established already prior to the law will be allowed to continue in its operation, but no additional could be done. Now, we have the city attorney here could elaborate on that.
Right.
Eric,
Secondly,
thanks.
that ordinance would contravene state statute and the permissive enabling act that allowed the first establishment. So that's an incorrect reading. Sorry, former council president.
So is this the right resolution or what?
Exactly. You're just.
You're saying a
you
guy
might
that
be-
bought property down on Pappas Drive cannot apply for a permit to build a medical marijuana place?
That's correct.
That's right.
That's bull. It's been approved already.
That's
So if you pass that, you're denying what we passed back in the day when I was around here for medical marijuana and all the other stuff on Pappas Drive. Let alone, you got to get your act together for all the other recreational marijuana, you got to get the standards set up.
I'm hearing in my ear here that I may have misspoke, that they can apply.
Okay, according to this, it reads to me like you
But
can't.
it's under a different statute, Mr. Kaiser, that's
Okay,
why.
and there's another statute that you cited in here. You can get this, they can reverse your decision by a 5% vote of turning in an amendment or a, what do you call it, petition? 5% of the 11,000 people that voted. If they sign that, you're going to have to do something anyway.
They can have a ballot initiative, that's correct.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. And City Attorney.
He had a former council president?
Yeah, Arthur Hudgens, citizen of Lincoln Park. I've been out here for about 13 years. My wife retired from Ford's and I retired from General Motors. And we came to Lincoln Park because we thought it was a beautiful community. And I'm ashamed to say that I don't know none of you guys up there, and I probably voted for half of you. So the people that's watching, this is not to you guys. Look at your people. I'll be at the meetings from now on. Look at the ones that you put in office that's saying no to your demands twice. Then you talk about people running back and forth from to Detroit and back over here. They don't have to. There's places out here in Lincoln Park where I can go get the best bud. And I have a medical condition. But I guess the most important point that you guys are missing, you must don't live out here or you don't ride up and down the streets with the big potholes. There's so much that you can do with the funds. I suggest you spend your time investigating, looking into what the benefits are and what the do's and don'ts are. You know, I know we have an awesome police department, and there's not many black people that can come up and say that. You know, but we have a great police department. I know most of the officers up there. I fix some pizza, I care to them, the fire department. And to come out here and see you guys looking so elegant and women so elegant and denying the citizens what they want. All I can say to the people that's watching, look at the names, mark the names down, and then we get out and put people in there that's going to respect what we want. And it's not all about the bud. There's a lot of things out here in Lincoln Park that's not right. But it's not one night that I go to sleep while worried about somebody from Detroit or even in Lincoln Park breaking in my house. I got the best neighbors, the only black dude on that block, and everybody's awesome. You know, so it's not a racial thing. It's a thing that you guys need to, if you don't want Detroit coming in and out of here, and you don't want to spend our money elsewhere, you need to take care of business so those of us with medical conditions can be taken care of. The opioid problem, I tried that. My doctor gave it to me. Medical doctor, Henry Fords. For 3 days, I didn't know who in the heck I was. It didn't work. But I could smoke my bud and watch TV and have a big time. No pain. See, so it ain't just about the medical part. It's about respecting the voters' wish. See, and if you're not going to respect the voters' wish, I plan to be on your back. I plan to be on your back. I mean that. And I'm watching everyone up here that's talking negative about what the people vote for. When you took that oath, you swore to serve the people, not your personal opinion. And I just want to let y'all know that. And for the people that's watching, there's too many people of color out here for us not to be coming out here to support the other people. Because if you don't come up here and support the other people.
That's your time, sir.
Well, thank you. I'll be back next week for mine, next month.
Good evening, Brandon Zielinski, resident. I'm for this. The prohibition needs to go. I was a longtime opiate user, didn't know it. My doctor got me addicted to it. Medical marijuana was the one thing that saved my life. We've got pharmacies popping up all over around the city. How many of you know somebody addicted to opiates? Can anybody in this room raise their hand? I'm sure somebody can. What's your name? Brandon Zielinski. I got away from it due to medical marijuana. You guys want to ban it? Mr. Higgins, Mr. Parkinson, I'm with you guys. Mr. Salcido, thank you. I don't understand why we want to opt out of something when we don't know what's going to happen. We can make millions for this city, but you guys want to just strike it from the record now. It makes no sense. Put the money in our pocket, give the opportunity to the city, and let's make this city great again. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Clifford Everts, longtime Lincoln Park resident. A lot of you know me. On the medical marijuana issue, real quick, don't want to really play devil's advocate, which I understand there's a lot of benefits, but a lot of times what you see on the TV and what the media posts, there's a lot that they tell you on the positives, but you don't see a lot of the downside. And in defense of the councilman and in defense of the fire and police and a lot of the other organizations that may be for or against it, it's just like weeds in your backyard. You have to get an early start on it to make sure you get them under control so they don't get out of control. And a lot of times with major crime and different things, if you're not in on the ground floor and the verbiage that's there, if you vote on it too quickly or approve it too quickly, and then they come in and have provisions to change the rules, you can create loopholes that can allow the wrong element to come in as well as the good element. So for every good benefit that comes in, there can be a negative effect on it too. How many people will be out there? I can tell you I've helped the police and fire department on numerous accidents where people have been driving high on the medical marijuana and they weren't supposed to be out driving. So you got to be careful about that. There are rules that the state's trying to put in place, but you have to make sure that you're in on the ground floor, and we have to make sure that there are strict rules and laws to prevent loopholes where people that don't deserve it and shouldn't get it, and the wrong element doesn't get their hands on it and come in and make it a problem for the people that do need it and do benefit from it. So you have to have the pros and cons. It's not saying it's a good or a bad thing either way, but I think that what the councilmen are trying to do is they're just trying to make sure that we don't create loopholes and let the wrong element get in and let it become a problem and out of hand. We can reap the benefits, that's good. But we have to make sure that we have control over it so it doesn't come out of hand and become a problem for the police and the fire and they get overwhelmed when they already have enough major crime to deal with in the city to protect our citizens. So we have to look at both sides and can't just ride the fence. We have to take an even stance on it and make sure that we're solid and secure so that we provide no loopholes in the system so that everything's solid. Lastly, on the flood issue for Hennessy.
No, sir, you can only speak on the item that is under.
Oh, okay. So that's all I really have. We just have to weigh that issue and please, just be careful because we don't want the wrong element in. If you live in Lincoln Park and you need medical marijuana, that's great. God bless you. I don't criticize you or condemn you for it. But I also don't condemn Councilman Higgins and Councilman Parkinson's actions and such the like for what they say against it. It's not voting out of it. It's just making sure that before they come in and give us rules, that we have a handle on it so we legally have ways to adjust and change with the laws that they put in so that if they change the rules on us, we can change it too, so we keep the wrong element out and keep it for the right reasons and reap the proper benefits. So, in other words, just because you saw it on the internet or saw it on TV doesn't always mean it's true. So, let's look at it from both sides of the coin and let's make sure that we're doing this the right way. Thank you.
No, folks are only allowed to speak one time.
How many liquor stores do we have in Lincoln Park?
Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Hi, good evening. I'm Jen Zielinski with Damascus Consulting and Development. I've been working medical marijuana policy as well as adult use policy since 2013. I was here back in 2017 when the city of Lincoln Park opted out of medical cannabis. You had mentioned earlier, Mayor, in your comments relative to the adult use market rolling out that the state hasn't rolled out the adult use program yet. But back in 2017, we heard very similar comments that we were going to wait for the state to establish the rules and regulations that would govern the medical industry. And they have. As of November 27th, 2018, the state did approve the permanent rules that will govern the medical marijuana industry. Relative to some comments that I heard relative to some lawsuits that the state has undergone, lawsuits for non-licensed facilities will not have an impact on Lincoln Park. Those lawsuits were brought forth by the patients as well as the employees that would be out of a job should the facilities be shut down prior to approval or denial by the state. The other item that was at hand that came up is the product that is available that is not tested. This is caregiver product that is coming into the commercial market. Now, granted, that is not permanently allowed by statute. The state is making some revisions to that to allow for patient access to have the available medicine that they require. The caregiver product is not sold without being disclosed, and the patient is required to sign such a document letting them know that they are receiving untested product. The tested facilities that will be coming online, there are currently only 4 in the state. They're catching up, and they will eventually eliminate the caregiver product out of the commercial market. That is not something that is going to be long-term. It is only a temporary solution so that patients can have access to the medicine that they need. With regards to the resolution that you have in front of you tonight, if you choose to move forward with this, put a sunset date to hold your feet to the fire to come back and revisit the issue. That wasn't done in 2017 when you opted out of medical. So why not now revisit medical? We have the permanent rules. We're seeing the industry evolve and take shape in several communities throughout Michigan. So now that we have these rules and regulations, let's at least revisit medical. If you don't do something, as was mentioned, your citizens could petition you, and then the control is completely eliminated from council. You will have no say, and it's up to the voters, and you're left to deal with what's put in that petition. So council ultimately loses the control if they don't take it and start discussing now. Again, I've been working in this space since 2017. I'm fully able to present on both sides of the issue, both adult use and recreational.
That's time, sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Joyce Murray. I just want to kind of throw some thoughts out there for some of the comments that I heard from some of the council people tonight. I heard a comment that the people voted for recreational marijuana, but I don't think that they anticipated it being sold in their city. If I go to buy a new car, the payment comes with it. That's just kind of how it works. You buy a car, you make a payment every month. So if I voted for recreational marijuana, I should only think that it's going to be sold in my city. So I want to kind of put that out there. Comment of it's not tested, how are we going to regulate it, things like that. Whether you pass to have recreational marijuana in your city or not, it's going to be available. You can go to any street corner in the city and get it. And that's sad. That is sad. But it's not tested on the street corner. Who knows what it's laced with? At least if we have the facilities, we can have it tested and make sure that it is safe for the people who are consuming it. Another comment was, we're going to opt out now. That way we can choose to opt in later. That tells me that you're very closed-minded and that you don't want to revisit it. Why not opt in now and have the option to opt out later? Because it can go both ways from my understanding from previous conversations. So I want you guys to think about that. There's a lot more that goes into it rather than, oh, we voted for it, but we don't want it in the city. Well, it all goes together. It's a big mix of things that we have to juggle together and make sure that we have to make the right path. But I think that opting in for it now, so not going with the resolution tonight, stating that we'll allow it and having the option to opt out later is our best bet because it shows that we're open to the idea. We want to see what things are there to offer, and then we'll make decisions moving forward once the state has laid down their groundwork. So that's just my thoughts.
Seeing no one else approach, we will then go to the city clerk.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Higgins,
No.
Parkinson,
No.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
No.
and Mayor Carnes.
I'm going to go for yes.
That resolution passed.
Okay, next item has a cover letter from John Myers, our building official. Purpose of this request is to make amendments to the rental ordinance, Chapter 1482.07, to clarify timeframes and compliance requirements. The current wording is ambiguous and/or confusing at times. The new wording gives specific limits to correct violations. All life safety code violations must be fixed within 10 days and remaining violations within 90 days. It also specifies that compliance is required every 3 years from date of registration. Okay, the resolution, resolved that an ordinance to amend the municipal code of the city of Lincoln Park by repealing section 1482.07 and replacing it with a new section 1482.07 entitled Records of Violations, Notice to Correct, Certificate of Compliance, be given its first and second reading by title only. The city of Lincoln Park ordains that the Lincoln Park Municipal Code be amended by repealing and replacing section .07 of chapter 1482 entitled Records of Violations, Notice to Correct, Certificate of Compliance. I'll move on this.
Support.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, discussion?
Your Honor, is this the second reading tonight? Was this, I remember?
No, it's
All right, thank you.
First and second.
Okay.
Okay, discussion?
Just a comment. This was explained more at the rental meeting with some of the landlords about how this was going to go. And John Myers thought this was a better way of working with the customers. So just for some of the council who were working and couldn't be here and that. But there was a big explanation, excuse me, but it basically was to give them some time, but also tighten up the rules.
Yep.
That's all, Your Honor.
Okay, further? Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor Carnes?
Yes.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Breeding? Yes. Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
And Ross.
Yes.
Okay, this item, next item is, has a cover letter from John Kazoo, Director of Public Services, Department of Public Services. Folks, city would like to auction off 3 older unused police vehicles at the next auction. A 4.2, which is a 2008 Crown Vic, 4.8, which is 2009 Crown Vic, 4.15, a 2010 Crown Vic. If these vehicles do not sell at auction, we ask permission to take them to salvage yards and sell them for scrap at the current rate. Whereas the city of Lincoln Park would like to dispose of 3 unused police vehicles, 4.2, 2008 Crown Victoria, VIN 2FAFP71V48X130357, 4.8, 2009 Crown Vic, VIN 2FAHP71V79X112977, 4.15, 2010 Crown Vic, VIN 2FABP78V1AX123403. Now therefore be resolved, the mayor and council declare these vehicles to be surplus used police cars and that they be sent to the next police auction with the proceeds be placed in account number 661-932-649000, which is the fleet fund account, and be it further resolved that if the vehicles do not sell at auction, they be taken to the salvage yard and sold for scrap with the proceeds to be placed in account number 661-932-9 correction. I'll do that again. 661-932-649000 fleet fund account.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Do we have a date on our next auction? City auction, do we have a date?
He was out in the lobby. I don't know if he's still-
I know,
There he is.
Deputy Chief?
Okay. So it's the next one's scheduled for the 11th, but he doesn't believe that
Oh.
these will get on to that one.
thank you.
Question through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Aren't most of these vehicles wrecked?
Chief, if you, Deputy Chief?
I wouldn't say they're all wrecked, but they're not in very, very good shape.
I've seen a lot of them down there that are just tore apart completely. So, thank you.
Your Honor, quick question.
Yes.
Having been to an auction or two myself, do these cars only go through one time? And then that's it? Or do they go through again? I
Yeah,
mean,
typically the condition that these vehicles are in, they just do once and then,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Anything from council? Yeah.
Kudrak had his hand up.
Yeah. Anything from council? Okay. Then we have someone from citizens?
Good evening, Richard Kudrak. I've always been curious, do you ever offer these vehicles to private citizens? Doesn't have to be a Lincoln Park resident? I understand they're not in good shape, but you think you could set a minimum price on them? If anybody wants to pay that price, sell it to them, then you don't have to pay the auction fees, you don't have to pay the transportation fees, you don't have to do anything but hand them a title and collect the money. Thank you.
Okay. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding? Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item has a cover letter from John Kazua, Director of the Department of Public Services also. And last year, Hennessy Engineers Incorporated, along with Fishbeck, Thompson, Carr, and Huber Incorporated, submitted the Harrison Street Bridge West structure number so-and-so over the south branch of Ecorse Creek and Emmons Boulevard Bridge over the Sexton Kilfoyle Drain to MDOT Local Critical Bridge Program for replacement last year. MDOT did not approve the bridge in last year's program. They are planning on resubmitting them again this year. Based on the 2017 bridge inspections, they are recommending that the city of Lincoln Park apply for MDOT Local Critical Bridge Program for Harrison Street Bridge West, constructed in 1965, and Emmons Boulevard Bridge, constructed in 1964. Okay. The Emmons Boulevard Bridge is a shared bridge with the city of Wyandotte. If the Emmons Boulevard Street Bridge is approved, the city of Lincoln Park and the city of Wyandotte will have to enter into an intergovernmental agreement, as was done before the Harrison Street Bridge East project, and the cost would be split between the two cities. Okay, and I seem to be, there it is. So the resolution is resolved that the mayor and city council adopt a resolution in support of placing the Harrison Street Bridge West, structure number 12498, which is over the south branch of the Ecorse Creek, and the Emmons Boulevard Bridge, structure number 12500, which is over the Sexton Kilfoyle Drain, on the MDOT Local Bridge Program priority list. The priority of these bridges are as follows. 1, Harrison Street West, over south branch of Ecorse Creek, structure 12498, and 2, Emmons Boulevard over Sexton Kilfoyle Drain, structure 12500.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Question, as we did in the past, are we already in contact with Wyandotte to let them know that we're doing this? So, because they got a council like we do, so they're kind of aware that we're going to go, you know.
We have Ryan from Hennessy
Oh.
Engineers.
Okay.
Who can answer that for us?
I don't have the answer for you on that. Jim Hollinsworth was working on that. I would assume we have talked with Wyandotte, but I'll get back with you on that. I'll check with Jim in the morning to make sure we have.
I'm still waiting for some other stuff from you. You're supposed to send me.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank
yes.
you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Is there further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding? Yes. Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item is also from John Kazoo. At the regular city council meeting in December, the mayor and city council awarded the bid for the 3/4-inch lead-free, frost-free hose bib backflow preventers to Ambient 4 Heat Corporation. They were the sole qualified bidder for this product. A second bid was received from HydroCorp, but it was not open due to the bid arriving late. Ambient 4 Heat Corporation has indicated to us in writing that they are unable to comply with the requirements of this contract. HydroCorp is our current cross-connection prevention contractor, and they were also awarded the bid for the installation of the 3/4 lead-free, frost-free hose bib backflow preventers on residential hose bibs during the inspection process. HydroCorp is able to supply the city with these backflow preventing devices. HydroCorp will supply the city of Lincoln Park the 3/4-inch lead-free, frost-free hose bib backflow preventers at a cost of $7.25 per unit, which is a difference of 5 cents per unit. Doesn't say if it's 5 cents more or 5 cents less?
5 cents more.
5 cents more, okay, per unit. Resolved that the mayor and city council authorize the change in vendor from the 3/4-inch lead-free, frost-free hose bib backflow preventers from Ambient 4 Heat to HydroCorp for a total cost not to exceed $29,000. That needs to be corrected. Is it $29,000 or is it $290,000?
I've seen that. Too many zeros.
29,000.
$29,000. To come from account number 592-920-757-000, Water Department, Operational Supplies.
So moved, but I have a
Support.
Okay, discussion.
problem.
Okay.
The wording in there, authorize a change in vendor. That's not proper. We need to cancel the awarding of the bid that we gave to this other company and then award it to this other company. You just don't change a vendor when you've solicited bids. You
Well, the
need
bid wasn't received properly, so I don't know. So in essence, we had one bid.
from the company that now says they can't do the job.
Yes.
So we need to cancel that. We need to cancel that and then give it to this other person or name this other person. You can't just change a vendor on bids that were properly solicited and opened and awarded by mayor and council. You can't just change it.
Okay, Mr. City
Mr.
Attorney.
Attorney's not there.
Mr. Attorney.
He has disappeared on us. Okay, well, it would not be,
You could
I can reword it for you.
Table, can we move
what
the
do you,
table?
what's,
what do
Council
you-
President, what's your recommendation?
that we not use the words change.
So do you want it to read something like resolve that the contract for the 3/4-inch lead-free, frost-free hose bib backflow preventers from Ambient Floor Heat be canceled?
Hold on.
Got it?
So it should be along these lines.
Okay.
Be resolved that mayor and council rescind the award of the agreement for providing frost-free hose bib backflow preventers from Ambient Floor Heat. So that's the first, therefore. Then the second is to award the contract for said frost-free hose bib backflow preventers to HydroCorp for a total cost not to exceed $29,000 come from account 592-920-757-000, Water Department Operational Supplies.
Thank you. I like that.
Okay, so what do we do with this? It's already been moved and supported. Is that withdrawn?
We missed you, Ed.
Yes.
So then, so mover and supporter are withdrawing?
I don't know who supported it.
Kelsey?
I'll do the same.
Okay, well, so that has been withdrawn. Now we have the new motion,
Right.
which, as it was reported just a few seconds ago?
Yes, as read.
I'll support that.
Is there,
You're
okay,
going to move on that one?
Yeah.
so same mover and supporter.
Yep.
It's gone. Is there discussion as to this?
Yes, I have.
Everybody understands the changes that went on with this?
Yeah, I understand the changes, but I have a question. Does this not go against our policy of not going out for bid for something that costs this much? And then we're just awarding somebody the bid at random? They did bid something, but it came in late, so it was not a bid.
Technically.
So the problem that we have with this is that HydroCorp is ready to go out and start their next round. If they don't have these, we're going to be in the same situation as we were last year, where we'll end up paying them more to go back a second time to actually install these. So that's the issue that DPS ran into. So we could do what you're suggesting, but it is going to cost us more than just the 5 cents per hose bib.
So when
Okay.
the wording.
Well,
Hold on. And further discussion?
I'm sorry.
Who's,
Without, Donna, you,
Are we discussing what Councilman Higgins brought up? Or the
well,
motion?
we're discussing the ordinance, the resolution.
Well, he's concerned regarding the $29,000.
Well, I understand
So
that.
we can waive the bid and award it to this company?
Good choice.
so the way that the ordinance on purchasing is written, after you reject, so this isn't the same, and I'm not saying, but I think the precedent based upon what the code says. So when you receive a bid and then you end up rejecting all bids, especially if there's only one bid, it allows the city flexibility then to enter into negotiation to award that to another vendor. I mean, again, we try not to do that. I mean, we try to, and we've done that a number of times where we've only received one bid, we don't think it's a good bid, the pricing was too high, or the company didn't check out, we go back out to bid. Again, I think the difference in this particular case is the timing that we were notified that they would not be able to supply us sufficient amount of these backflow preventers is such that it's going to cost us a lot more money to wait, because again, HydroCorp has to get through everything, they're going. If we don't have the materials for them, we're going to be sitting here with another resolution that will be giving them, and I can't remember last year what that contract was, to go back to every house that they visited that needed this product. So, I mean, that's the issue you have here. You have the flexibility based upon the purchasing ordinance that you have in place to do this. But again, it's going to be up to your decision to do that.
got a question.
Yes, sir.
On the same issue. Why isn't Ambient paying a penalty for that? They accepted the bid, they were duly notified what the bid specs were, and that's why we're in this position. So why isn't Ambient being penalized for the fact they didn't follow through? There's Ed here, you can probably tell. Is it a contract?
Yeah, I have not had a chance to review all that.
I'm just
because,
saying.
yeah, it doesn't say
Yeah.
anything about that right now. I think
Okay.
we're reserving our right in reviewing everything.
Yeah. But again,
I'm just
you're
asking.
talking about a penalty, you're talking about 3 years instead of 3 minutes to get this thing done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's why we're here.
We're looking into that, so.
I'm just, through the chair, the reason I'm saying that's why we're here. We didn't create this.
Right.
And then, like Councilman Higgins brought up, now we don't have a dilemma, but we have to adjust our rules because we did everything right the first place, and everything was in place and so on and so forth. That was my question. Maybe it won't resolve today, but down the line, we can recover some of the cost. Thank you.
Possibility.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe this is something we need to build into our bids from future points.
Yeah. And again, I think this, the immediate need is this year's and actually last year's that we're doing. And so I haven't had a chance to talk to Mr. Kazoo about this yet, but we're going to be looking at putting this back out to bid for future years. Because we did do the whole package with them, all 5 years, I think, of that. And the number was a lot more than 29,000, but we'll look at that and see what the next step is for future years. But again, the issue that we're addressing is HydroCorp was ready to go. They followed up to the company and the company said that they couldn't meet the need that we had to deliver those before HydroCorp went out and started visiting the residents.
Okay, is there further discussion on this? Then clerk call the roll.
Mayor?
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Good evening, Richard Kudrak. At an absolute minimum, Ambient should be permanently disqualified from bidding on any future city contracts. That's the minimum. Secondly, every time you say the word HydroCorp, it says shivers up my spine. That's the same company that sent me a letter that said if I did not voluntarily install these backflow preventers, they would permanently disconnect my house from the city water system. Yeah, that's that company that did that. In writing.
Sir, if you
Because of the state
want to
law.
address, then you need to go up to the podium and all right. All right, further discussion. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding? Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
No.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All righty. Next item has a cover letter also from John Kazoo. The City of Lincoln Park DPS recently went out to bid for and received one bid for asphalt emulsion. The low bidder is Highway Maintenance Construction of Romulus, Michigan, at a price of $3.50 per gallon for year one and $3.60 per gallon for year two. All right. So the resolution resolved the mayor and city council hereby award the bid for asphalt emulsion to Highway Maintenance and Construction for 2 years for a total not to exceed $17,500 in year one and $18,000 in year two, with the funds to come from accounts 203-464-782-000 local roads surface maintenance materials and 202-464-782-000 major road surface maintenance materials. Be it resolved that the DPS will purchase this product through the purchase order process.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay, also from Mr. Kazoo's night here.
Yeah.
City of Lincoln Park DPS recently went out to bid for and received 2 bids for as-needed trucking services. The low bidder is Osborne Industries of Taylor, Michigan. Okay. Bid tabulation is needed trucking service. Edward C. Levy Company, $17.74 for 21 AA stone per ton, $23.95 for 6A limestone per ton, no bid for 1x3 stone, no bid for topsoil, and $12.08 per fill sand per ton. Osborne Industries, $15 for 21 AA stone per ton, $17.50 for 6A limestone per ton, 1x3 stone per ton, $16.75, topsoil per yard, $17, and fill sand per ton, $11 even. Be resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award for the bid for as-needed trucking services for 2 years to Osborne Industries Incorporated of Taylor, Michigan, as submitted. Be resolved that the mayor and city council authorize the funds to be taken from account 592-920-818000 Water Department Contractual Services and 592-527-818000 Sewer Department Contractual Services.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Breeding,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item also from Mr. Kazoo. Hennessy Engineers Incorporated, on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park DPS, solicited bids for the 2019 utility pavement repair program. City of Lincoln Park received 5 bids for the projects, with the low bidder being HMC LLC of Troy, Michigan, with a bid amount of $489,595 for the 2019 utility pavement repair program. The bids received were as follows. HMC LLC, $489,595. GV Cement Contracting Company, $549,750. Audia Concrete Construction, $656,275.50. Lucaria Concrete Construction, $684,800. Century Cement Company, $907,600. Resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award the bid for the 2019 utility pavement repair program to HMC LLC of Troy, Michigan, for a total amount not to exceed $489,595 to come from account number 420-923-983-000 Water and Sewer Capital. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city council authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign all pertinent contract documents.
So, support.
Discussion?
Your Honor, have we worked with the HMC LLC in the past?
Ryan, can you comment on that?
No, we have not worked with them in the past. They're a newer company. It was just established a couple years ago. The company, it does consist of employees from 2 other companies that we have worked with in the past, Tissio Brothers and Giannetti Contracting. I don't know if either one has worked in the city in the past, but our office has worked with them in the past, and we believe that they're capable of doing this work.
The reason I bring this up, the bids are varied so wildly, it just, going with a company that I hadn't heard of before, it just makes me a little nervous.
Sure. I think they're probably, being a newer company, they're trying to get their name out there and I think that may be why they're a little bit lower.
Is there further discussion? Thank you, Ryan. Clerk,
Yep.
call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. This next item is also has a cover letter from Mr. Kazoo. Hennessy Engineers Incorporated, on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park DPS, solicited bids for the 2019 Joint and Crack Sealing Program. The City of Lincoln Park received 2 bids for the project, with the low bidder being Scodeller Construction of Wixom, Michigan, with a bid amount of $96,936. The roads that are to be included in the Joint and Crack Sealing Program are highlighted on the attached map. All right. The bids received, being 2, were Scodeller Construction at $96,093 and Michigan Joint Sealing at $104,088. Hold on. Resolution is resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award the bid for the 2019 Joint and Crack Sealing Program to Scodeller Construction of Wixom, Michigan, for a total cost not to exceed $96,936 to come from a capital account number 450-000-818-000. Be resolved, the mayor and city council authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign all pertinent contract documents.
So move.
Support.
Discussion?
Question. Maybe Ryan can answer this. This last, through the chair, last time we had the joint sealing, they had a problem with traffic control. It wasn't there was cars trying to go around when they're blowing out the joints and all that stuff. And I'm just wondering, being I see in the next couple of resolutions, we're going to pay you some nice money to watch them. Are you going to be able to make it better than it was last year as far as
Yeah.
traffic control
Yes,
goes?
we will be working on that, yes. We do send out notices to the residents that are on those streets that we're working on, letting them know not to park on the street on that day while we're doing the project. Unfortunately, some people do keep their cars there, and we have to get them moved. But definitely, I think some of the issues are on some of the busier streets where they're more heavily traveled. But we'll definitely be following that, making sure the traffic control is in order.
Through the chair was on Abbott, that's the problem, because it was a cross street and,
Right.
just
And I know,
well, whatever.
and I know 2 years ago, we had some issues on Emmons Street as well with traffic control too, yes.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Breeding,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item also from Mr. Kazook, Hennessy Engineers Incorporated, on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park DPS, solicited bids for the 2019 asphalt resurfacing program, Phase 1. City of Lincoln Park received 5 bids for the project, with the low bidder being HMC LLC of Troy, Michigan, with a bid amount of $919,370 and 90 cents. $919,370.90. There we go. Bids received were HMC LLC, $919,370.90. Hutch Paving, $960,292.50. Birmingham Seal Coat and Paving, $975,553.50. Best Asphalt, $1,085,376.25. Vacaria Concrete Construction, $1,107,638.50. The roads for this will be Lafayette Avenue, which is Champaign to Southfield, Champaign Avenue, Fort Street to Fort Park, Wilson Avenue, Russell to Monty, Buckingham Avenue, Dix to Porter. Resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award the bid for the 2019 asphalt resurfacing program, Phase 1, to HMC LLC of Troy, Michigan, for a total cost not to exceed $919,370.90 to come from Roads Capital Account 450-000-818-000. Be resolved that the mayor and city council authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign all pertinent contract documents.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Also for Mr. Katsou, Hennessy Engineers, on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park DPS, solicited bids for the 2019 asphalt resurfacing program, Phase 2. The City of Lincoln Park received 5 bids for the project, although HMC is the low bidder for this project due to the volume of work they are receiving with Phase 1 2019 asphalt resurfacing program. It is in the best interest of the city to go with the third lowest bidder, which is Hutch Paving of Warren, Michigan. The second lowest bidder has limited experience with municipal work, and which is the reasoning behind using the third lowest bidder. So the bids are HMC LLC, $635,496.10. Birmingham Steel Coat and Paving, $691,664. Hutch Paving, $696,751. Vacaria Concrete Construction, $764,945. Best Asphalt, $772,565. This program, Phase 2, consists of asphalt milling resurfacing, including concrete-based repairs. It's Ferris Avenue, Seacott to Monty, Garfield Avenue, Ferris to Wilson Avenue, New York, Ferris to Wilson Avenue, Capitol Avenue, Fort Street to Ferris, Buckingham Avenue, Hazel to Dix Highway. Resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award the bid for the 2019 asphalt resurfacing program Phase 2 to Hutch Paving of Warren, Michigan for the bid amount of $696,751 plus a 10% contingency for a total amount not to exceed $766,426 to come from Roads Capital Account number 450-000-818-000. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city council authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign all pertinent contract documents.
So moved.
Support.
Brian, could you,
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I just want to advise council, I know I did it before that, and you probably don't care, but I've represented Hutch Paving in the past, not on contracts, but when they get tickets, just so you know they're a client of mine. And I had nothing to do with this bid process. Thank you.
Okay, Ryan, did you advise Mr. Kazoo and or the DPS on the recommendations for this, or did you have some input?
Yes, we did, yes.
Okay.
So we had in the clause in the contract that due to the amount of work that we have for this year and that we won't be starting the work till after July 1st, we had a clause in the contract that whoever was awarded the Phase 1 project would not be eligible for the Phase 2 project, so we could spread out the work, make sure the work gets done this year. Since we've got limited time, there's quite a few streets that we're doing this year. That's the reason why for Phase 2, we're not going with the low bid, which
per
is
the contract.
Correct.
That was it.
It's the same contractor that we just awarded for Phase 1. The second lowest bidder has very limited experience with municipal work and has only been a subcontractor for municipal work, and we don't have any experience with them, so that's the reason why we're going with the third low bid of Hutch Paving, which we do have experience with. We did have an issue, they've done the work here in the last 2 years for the asphalt resurfacing project. We did have an issue with them last year with tracking asphalt off of Michigan Avenue, where we had the asphalt track down Dix Highway and Fort Street.
Yep.
They did with their own means and at their own expense. They did clean up that issue, and it was cleaned up per the requirements of Wayne County and MDOT, and it satisfied their requirements. So I think we have had discussions with them about that, and they did do Lincoln Street after Michigan Avenue. We had no problems with that, so I don't see that being an issue again. We've had lengthy discussions with them that can't happen again. So other than that, they did good work.
Okay, further discussion?
No, I just comment, I echo what Ryan said, because it was a little bit after, though, that they actually fixed it, but the asphalt's a little hard to come off when it's being flicked on Dix at somebody doing 50 at you, so.
Sure.
Because I happen to live over there, and
Right.
I was at the gas station when that happened, the marathon on the corner. And just point of information, that I hope the lengthy discussion works real well.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, that's all.
Hearing nothing else, clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Breeding.
Yes.
Parkinson.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Salcido.
No.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item, resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award the 2019 utility pavement repair program oversight and construction services to Hennessy Engineers Incorporated as submitted for any and all work not to exceed $56,745. Be it also resolved that the mayor and council authorize the funds to be taken from account number 420-923-983-000 Water and Sewer Capital Improvement. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city council authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign all pertinent contract documents.
So move. Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Kelsey.
Yes.
Parkinson.
Yes.
Salcido.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award the oversight and construction services for the 2019 joint and crack ceiling program to Hennessy Engineers Incorporated as submitted for any all work not to exceed $8,276 to come from the engineering capital account 450-000-821-000. Be resolved that the mayor and city council authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign all pertinent contract documents.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding.
Yes.
Parkinson.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Kelsey.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Salcido.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item, resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award the 2019 asphalt resurfacing program Phase 1 oversight and construction services to Hennessy Engineers Incorporated as submitted for any and all work not to exceed $56,468. Be it also resolved that the mayor and council authorize the funds to be taken from account 450-000-821-000 road construction engineering.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Breeding? Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. And then resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award the 2019 asphalt resurfacing program, Phase 2 oversight and construction services to Hennessy Engineers Incorporated as submitted for any and all work not to exceed $45,505. Be it further resolved that the mayor and council authorize the funds to be taken from account number 450-000-821-000 road construction engineering.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. This item is resolved that special event permit number 5 be approved for the Friends of the Lincoln Park Farmers Market. Event to be held in the city of Lincoln Park on Sunday, May 12, 2019, and Sundays from June 2nd through October 27, 2019, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the municipal lot at Fort and Southfield under the following conditions. 1, special event to cease at 5 p.m. 2, applicants shall be responsible for cleanup of all debris associated with event from surrounding properties. Application filed and fees paid.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Your Honor, I want to mention that I will be working at and helping out the farmer's market, but I am not getting any kind of money out of this. So just want to put that on the record.
Very good. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Then resolved that special event permit number 6 be approved for the 2019 Cruisin' Down River event to be held in the city of Lincoln Park on June 29th, 2019, from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. for the Mustang Owners Club of Southeastern Michigan, utilizing Memorial Park under the following conditions. Vehicular parking will only be allowed on the grass along Merrill Street. No vehicles shall be parked along the Fort Street frontage. Application filed, fees paid, and pending proof of insurance.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Discussion through the chair, Your Honor. Is Lincoln Park getting involved with the Downriver Cruise at all? Has any businesses been informed that maybe they can go out and sell hot dogs or sell their product out front? Has anything on that?
Well, the official days of the Lincoln Park Cruise are not there anymore. It's the Southwestern Chamber of Commerce, Wayne County Chamber of Commerce used to host this and would go on and get the businesses to sponsor and such. There's a tradition that is going through the city and the communities, though, that the last Saturday in June, yeah, is the date for that. And unofficially, they do that. We still authorize permits for that, and Lincoln Park will be having a, I think that's Art in the Park.
Art in the Park is.
During that time, too.
Or
no, wait, that's, there's
No,
a
just the
there's a
concert
that would
in
be
the park.
going on, an event in there. So there are events, but it's not an official event.
Not in conjunction. So the Mustang Club will be the only one standing on Fort Street? Is that legally?
Well, no, they'll be on Merrill Street.
Merrill Street in London, whatever. All right.
In the park.
so far, but other business.
We only hope, Donna. We only hope.
The Mustang Club, for my understanding, has done this for the last 2 years without incident.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Breeding? Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next is resolve that Charles Persinger of 2090 Cleveland, Lincoln Park, Michigan, 48146, is hereby appointed to the Planning Commission, term to expire May 1, 2022.
So moved.
Support.
Oh, good. Discussion?
Question, is that a reappointment or a new appointment?
That's a new appointment.
Have they submitted their resume like we require an application? Because normally when we do that, we have it in the packet so we can take a look at it.
Oh, I had the application, I didn't submit it. I apologize for that.
All right, okay.
Is a Ford Motor employee, if that helps any.
I just, thank you.
Further discussion?
Yeah, Ed, I'd just like to take the opportunity to remind everybody, we do have openings on other commissions. And please, if you would like to serve your city, and most commissions meet once a month for a couple hours, please step forward, and you can find everything on our computer. Please step forward.
Okay, further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. This item is resolved that Rosalino Leduca, 3835 River Drive, Lincoln Park, Michigan, 48146, is hereby appointed to the Planning Commission, term to expire May 1, 2022.
So move.
Support.
Oh, sorry.
All right. This is discussion on Stuka?
Just the same as the other one, I didn't see that, so I guess they're all not
Yeah, they
included.
came,
Yeah.
came to me. I will
Okay.
take care of that.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
He serves on the Dangerous Building Board right
Right.
now.
Right.
Okay, further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Mayor Carnes?
Yes.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Salcido?
Yes.
Next item is resolved that Amelia Zelnok, start again. Resolved that Amelia Zelnok, 711 St. John's, Lincoln Park, Michigan, 48146, is hereby appointed to the Local Officers Compensation Commission, term to expire May 6, 2020.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Same question Larry
Thing
had.
from, what's that?
I know, yeah.
see your resume, it's too long.
Yes.
Further discussion from council? None from the audience?
Richard Kudrak, I'm not really familiar with this committee, but it sounds kind of important. Could you give us a little overview of what their duties and responsibilities are?
From my understanding of this, meets in odd years to go over compensation for the elected officials in town.
Only the elected officials?
Only the elected officials.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item, last action item, resolved that David Carter, 4177 Irene, Lincoln Park, Michigan, 48146, is hereby appointed to the Local Officers Compensation Commission, term to expire May 6, 2025.
So moved.
Support.
And Mr. Carter is coach at the high school, and family's been very much involved in city affairs. Further discussion? If you,
You talked about the, Compensation Commission. Did we lose people on it?
yes,
Because you appointed two more.
yes,
Okay. We full now?
close. You're getting there, within one or two, within one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think as we look at it, I'm thinking that we are close. I have to check with another of the members to see if they're willing to continue, but we're close to having it full, and then we'll,
Okay, because I'm still on it, I guess, as far as I know.
you are?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna replace.
You are, Mr. Varner. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Resolved that the accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 be approved as follows. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, May 2019 retiree Medicare, $53,897.47. May 2019 SB Actives, $120,927.92, for a total for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, $174,825.39. This item has been check released for due date. Blue Cross Blue Shield 2019 retiree non-Medicare, $41,162.14. Beckett and Rader Incorporated, City Planning Services, February to March 2019, $26,474.46. 25th District Court, May 2019 payment, $49,059.34. Downriver Utility Wastewater, March 2019 sewer usage fees, $99,796.47. Great Lakes Water Authority, March 2019 water, $196,202.52. Hard Rock Concrete Incorporated, 2018 road reconstruction and water main replacement, $27,956.18. And MERS, April 2019 defined benefit, $206,503. Also on the second Blue Cross Blue Shield for the May 2019 retirees, that check was also released for due date.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Point of information, we have okayed the city attorney's retainer for the year, but we never signed the contract for it. We did pass a resolution, but the contract wasn't signed, so I think we need to follow up on that. You know where you signed up. I'm looking at Matt.
Okay. Is there further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Breeding.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes, and we have reached the time for the city manager's report. Mr. Copper?
Good evening, everyone. Based upon the hour of the evening, and I know certain people have to get up very early in the morning, I won't have any formal report, but if there are any questions, I will try to answer those.
Your Honor?
Chair.
First, go ahead.
I just, we already talked about earlier about the openings on several of the commissions. I was wondering, can we have a report for the citizens and on the open seats so that they know the situation?
There's very few, actually, right now, but we'll do that.
Excuse me.
Through the chair, Mr. Koppler, we're still having a budget meeting on the 13th at 6:30 PM. Is that still on?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Anything else for Mr. Copler?
Just a comment through the chair, Mr. Copler. I know some of the committees have changed their or had bylaws that they didn't have them, where there's the people who serve without compensation but show up. They have to be able to show up to be at the commission meeting, because sometimes what happens is if the person has good intentions and doesn't show up after a couple meetings, there now is a policy in some of the commissions that after 3 unexcused policies or meetings can be removed. And the reason I say that is because people sometimes they get in there and they have other things, just so they know. It's not that you have to be there all the time, but you have to be there, a lot of the time, because that's the reason the commission meets, and that's why we're asking for people to be on the commissions.
Yep.
So I just want to make that point so they're aware of that.
In order to conduct business, you need to be there.
Sure. Thank you.
Anything else for Mr. Copler? Seeing none, we'll move on to our very patient librarian for her department head report. Nicole?
Thank you.
Some of them are twice the low. They look at the same specs.
Okay, well, I will try to keep it brief. I know this has been a... Okay, all right. Well, it's been, since my last report, we've had a lot of great things going on. We have had a new full-time youth services librarian start, and she has instituted 2 story times a week, one at Tuesdays at 6 p.m., and then there's 2 different ones at 10:30 and 1 on Saturdays. And so we've been getting a lot more people coming to that, and I encourage people to check it out. We've also been doing well with the ebooks. We've been doing a lot of outreach with that over the last 3 or 4 months, and I'm happy to say that we've doubled our statistics from the same time last year. We have a lot more people using the ebook materials. The Friends of the Library, their sale was in April. They did very well on the sale. They made over $1,200 off of their sale, and the profits are going to benefit the library. And then coming up later this month, we are having a tree education program on Friday, May 31st at 3:30 p.m., and that's going to be in our program room. And that is to educate the public on the right type of trees to select for growing in the area, how to plant, and then trees native to Michigan. So that's with the naturalist Randy Baker, and I encourage everyone to check it out. We have the summer reading program coming up. This year's theme, which is the national theme, is a universe of stories. And that's an emphasis they want on STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. So a lot of our programs this summer are going to be geared around that. We are going to have a speaker from a planetarium as one of the programs. So there's going to be a different program every week on Tuesday evenings, and then on Wednesdays we are going to have a movie night every week for the kids. That'll be kids' movies, and that's free of charge. The registration starts on June 18th, and our summer reading program will run for 6 weeks during the summer. We've had some recent updates to the library. You've probably seen the outdoor lighting, the LEDs. Those were recently installed. And then in the next budget year, we are planning to add indoor LED lighting. There's a lot of dark areas in our library, and I think it'll be more energy efficient and improve the lighting in the library. And then I've added a picture here. We've also added new shelving for our paperback collection. We've taken them off of the spinner racks that they were on, and I think we've had a lot of positive feedback from the patrons. It's a lot easier to find materials. And then as of last week, we have updated the software on all of the library computers. They're on the latest version of Windows now, and they have Microsoft Office 2019 installed. So people working on the computers, they do see a lot of usage during the day. They are able to work with the latest version. And that's it, unless there's any questions from council.
No, thank you, Nicole.
Okay,
we appreciate
thank you.
your report. So after Nicole shuts down her system there, we'll open it up for citizen communication. Seeing none.
Based on the late hour, I'm sure this will be of no consequence, but I was prepared, so I will do it. We're voting for the school bond issue tomorrow. Yeah, that is the $104 million school bond issue. I have a ballot. I have 3 wonderful, glossy, high-expense mailings. I have a letter to the editor, an article in the News Herald. And we had the superintendent come here giving us a personal visit. So there were 6 opportunities for them to tell us that the cost to the residents is $104 million. Not once did they admit what it was going to cost. When the by the way, I've never seen the superintendent come to the city council meeting. I was stunned he was here, but he has every right, so I'll go with it. But in that meeting, he was asked how much interest is going to be charged for this $61 million school bond issue, and he said $10 million. It's $43 million interest. This is a $104 million school bond. God, I really wish they could just tell the truth once in a while. Anyway, these really nice glossies, tomorrow night I'm going to ask them how much they cost. But one of the things that irritated me, besides the fact they don't mention it's $104 million, is they keep using things like research has proven. Independent research proves. I went to the last town hall meeting, and I asked the superintendent, show me this research. I want to see it. And he suggested I look it up online. I said, I don't even know what to look for. You didn't cite, there's no reference material here. I don't know where you got this from. So I says, that's what I said, secrecy and misinformation. A lot of stuff I didn't like. Anyway, the superintendent, I had an interesting chat with him at the last town hall meeting, and I said he did offer me a private consultation because clearly I didn't understand this, and I said there's no private consultation going on because every question I have, lots of other people have also. And explaining it to me does nothing for the other people who are still wondering the same thing. So we're not having any private consultations. And I forgot the last thing I was going to say. We're voting tomorrow. Sorry, Carrie. But I forgot. It's too late. Thank you very much.
Hi, Leslie Lynch Wilson, Friends of Lincoln Park Farmers Market, Lincoln Park Farmers Market. First of all, thank you for approving our special event permit. And I just wanted to remind you that this weekend, this Sunday, we are doing a Mother's Day market at the market location, the corner of 4th Street in Southfield, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We'll have various items, vendors with various items that are suitable for Mother's Day present for Mom. So be sure to stop by and pick something up for Mom. And then the market will start on Sunday, June 2nd, same location, and again, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thanks.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council, Clifford Eberts once again. I guess this would be the time to ask. I just had a quick question, just so I get a better understanding of the system from Ryan. I know that some of the streets flooded and some of those didn't. If the system was overwhelmed and the creek was overspilling, how come some streets did flood real deep and some didn't get any water at all, even though most people got some water in their basement? To get a better understanding of why some sections would be like flooded here, but in between there was no flooding, you know.
I guess I can't really answer that. We'd have to do a pretty thorough study of the sewer system to get a better understanding of why one house here and there flooded. But it could depend on some pipes. It could, you could have a collapsed pipe in one location. You might have root problem in one. It's undersized. I mean, there's multiple different things that could cause why only one here or there flooded. As far as the street flooding, it depends on the layout of the system and what problems there might be within the sewer itself.
Oh, okay. I just wondered because I figured if one part of the city flooded on the streets. I figured that being the system overwhelmed, they probably would have all, I guess, flooded, but I mean, if it's overwhelmed, makes no sense. And I just want to give a shout out to, before I forget, to Lincoln Park Police Department. We had a small incident by the tracks over on Seacott, and they did an excellent job. They came out pretty quick. They know the incident, so I won't go into details because we've been here long enough tonight, but thanks to them for their rapid response and for EMS and for the wonderful job they do for this city and the fire department too, because it's a thankless job what they do. So whenever you see them out there, thank them for keeping your city safe. Thank the fire department, thank the police department. They do a bang-up job out there, and I'll tell you what, I've gone around and seen some of the stuff that they have to deal with, and I can tell you, you really need to thank them because you can sleep well at night knowing that while you're in bed comfy and cozy, the Lincoln Park Police and the fire department are out there keeping watch like angels to make sure you're safe. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, we'll then move on to oral reports of the mayor and council. Council President Breeding.
Sunday, the 12th, is Mother's Day. For all of you who still have a mother, please call them, visit them, take some flowers, because once your mama's gone, it's very sad, and you miss her forever and a day. So Sunday the 12th is Mother's Day. Cinco de Mayo, I really enjoyed it. It is so wonderful to see these young dancers. They put on such a show, and it was very, very nice and very exciting to see everything. And Giles, you did a great job over there. The ice show was this past weekend, and my granddaughter was in the ice show for 16 years, and now she's grown and not living anywhere close by here or whatever. So I miss actually being at all 3 shows that they put on or whatever. But one show was good enough, nice and whatever, nice production that they put on. As was said, tomorrow is Election Day. So no matter how you feel about a proposal that is on there, please go out and vote. It costs the city the same amount of money to put on an election with one proposal or 40 proposals on there. So please go out and vote tomorrow. And as far as the flood, I, along with 499 other people, had my basement flood for the 3rd time. And it is not a joyful thing. I believe I've lost my washing machine this time, but at least the furnace and the hot water heater didn't die like it did the previous one. So I feel bad for all of those people that were involved in the flood, and I'm very thankful that the water didn't stay in my basement for longer than 24 hours. So that's all that I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Salcido.
Yes, briefly, the Cinco de Mayo celebration was fantastic. I know Giles, great job, Leslie Lynch Wilson, Bob Steele, and Maureen Tobin. I did a great job. 20 others to mention, but real good. And Nicole, the library is looking great, just so you know, and you reminded me I have a book to turn in. So that's all, Your Honor. Thank you.
Councilwoman Ross, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. As the mayor mentioned in the when we opened the meeting, that we had gone to the Mixter School for their autism awareness open house, and that was truly just heartwarming. I don't know, maybe it's just because I love young people, love kids, that it's good to see them engaged in doing things that that they find pleasure in. So that was nice. I was proud to be your representative there. I'm sorry that I missed the Cinco de Mayo, but I was in training seminars in Traverse City with the Michigan Municipal League. So I working on getting better. So I understand that they have another training every February. So I'm looking forward to that. This one, I was lucky. I got, I had actually applied for a scholarship and won that. So that was nice. Don't forget our Memorial Day Parade on the 19th. And there was, I missed a community improvement meeting too on that Friday. There's supposed to be a park cleanup. Does anybody?
Yeah, I missed
No.
the meeting too. We'll find out.
Okay.
The meeting was canceled.
Oh, it was canceled?
Yes, that what Commissioner brought,
Okay.
that's part of the reason I was asking.
Okay, all right. Happy Mother's Day to all our moms. And I think that's, oh, no, one more reminder. Saturday, the 11th, is the Wayne County's Household Hazardous Waste event. So that is from 8 to 2 at the Henry Ford Community College. But if you don't make this one, there's two more. There's one in August and one in October, and I'll give you those dates. I think they're on the city's website, though, too. That's it, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Higgins.
Thank you. Again, I'd like to echo everybody else. Cinco de Mayo this year was wonderful. Everybody did a wonderful job. I was kind of in and out because I had other things that I had to attend to that day. But then I was there for the last half of the day, and I was running a booth with the Hands of the City, and just had an absolute ball. The music was great. It was, watching the kids dance. It was just a wonderful day. We'd like to announce that the Hands of the City, who put on the Memorial Day Parade, which as of this year will be the John Dingle Memorial Day Parade, we'll be selling 50-50 tickets, and what we're going to do is we'll give a big unveiling who wins the ticket on Lincoln Park days, but the tickets will be on sale at Lincoln Park Silver and at all Hands of the City events. The librarian, once again, your library is always beautiful. You do a wonderful job. The new shelves are great. The one thing you didn't mention is that we will be working with the library, with the Hands of the City, to bring the Lincoln Park Book Fair to the library the first weekend in December. And we're also bringing a jolly guy with a big red suit and a white beard. Will also be there that night. That's all really. Oh, again, reminding everybody, Farmers Market on Sunday. I will be there for the last half of the day. If you would like to come by and have a chat with the councilman, please come by. Thank you.
Good. Thanks. Councilman Kelsey.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all the people that took care of the flood, the volunteers, CERT, who spent numerous hours out and about. If people don't know, some of the CERT members do not even belong in this city. They belong to another city, but they come over here all the time to help out. And those are the people that help the city with when they have emergencies and issues that we put on that we don't have enough manpower. The same thing with the city employees. I'd like to thank them for long days and well job done. Whenever you have a disaster, it's all hands on board and everything else gets pushed to the side so you can take care of the issues. And I think they did a good job with all the obstacles they had to work with. The flooding of the basements, I feel sorry for the people. I know a long time ago, I'm an older gentleman, when I lived on Huntington Street, I remember our basement flooded, and it's still in my mind. It's not pretty no matter who it happens to. And I guess in the end, we at least had people that could go out and try to help the people, and the Red Cross was here and stuff like that. So I think that was very nice that the city tried to do everything to go around and at least help the people out or try to help them. The same thing with Mother's Day. Unfortunately, my mother passed away a long time ago, and Council Pro Tem Donna is right. You never realize how short time is when you don't have somebody, because when you're busy, you don't pay attention. When you're not, it's too late. So if you have family members, mothers that are still alive, definitely, at least touch base or take them out to dinner or do something to recognize it, because sometimes you don't realize it till the next year. That's the next time you end up seeing them. So thank you, Your Honor. That was it.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Parkinson.
Thank you. I'd like to echo Councilman Kelsey. The city employees and the CERT volunteers and stuff, they did a phenomenal job. It's rough out there because I know I worked a couple of those heavy rain events, and it's just devastating. How can you tell the people? But I saw videos of the Detroit River at Bishop Park. The river was lapping up over the sidewalk in the park. So if the river's that high, the Egress Creek has nowhere to dump. So that might help you understand a little bit. I did notice that there was a $87 million, the Wayne County Roads Improvement, and it listed all the cities that are on there. Everything around us, you got something, but Lincoln Park doesn't. I think you might want to talk to our commissioner and see why we weren't on that list, and maybe get added for next year. And there was another article where Flint got $600 million from, I believe it was the state, for lead water service removal. Do you think we might put a resolution in and try to get the state to chip in some money for us, that they're giving us the unfunded mandates of getting stuff like that done? Oh, and I also saw some complaints that the semis driving into Hoover School, supposedly they've been talked to, use one way in and one way out. There's about 3 or 4 different complaints about them using different roads. So I think maybe if you get back with them to say one way in and one way out, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We were fortunate in the county doing the Fort and Southfield intersection not Fort and Southfield, but Southfield in our general area, and that was just a year or two ago. So it was a pretty major project. So I was disappointed that I didn't see our Lincoln Park getting anything from the county, but I can understand that. But it doesn't hurt to bring that to her attention, and I will do so, as I recommend all of the rest of council to do. Happy Mother's Day to everyone that is out there. My daughter is celebrating her first official Mother's Day this year, so I know that it's a very special event, and I know that it will be in our family this year, as many of our mothers have passed on. But it's nice to see the next generation coming in. The ice show, I was privileged to be there yesterday, and it was a tremendous event. It wasn't as big as in past years, but they are rebuilding, because if you just remember a few short years ago, the idea of the community center continuing was in doubt. And they lost a lot of skaters to that point, and then these skaters are starting to come back. I would have to say a thank you to Dennis Anderson for his work at the community center. The ice was top-notch, and everything looked very good inside of there. So, what else do I have here? I can go on forever. The flood event, I have to say that as a city, we were very fortunate to have the people that we have that came together to work and try to accomplish this. The amount of citizens that were coming in to city management office and to the city clerk's office and any place inside where they were lost, they were looking for a place to go. Our people remained positive and directing them to where and to solve an attempt to not solve the problem, but to mitigate it and to get them the answers that they need at the time that we were attempting to find out what the answers were ourselves. So you have, starting at the top with Matt Copler, you go to Mr. Meyer, who was phenomenal. DDA Director Giles, whose office is right across from the counter, jumped up there as his intern, Nick, also was fielding everything that came in. I did met a couple of the people that way and filled out a couple forms, but it was primarily these folks doing it 8 hours a day during that time. And even on Saturday, the city clerk's office was open, and she disseminated some too, because she had to be here. So it was more of a team approach to getting that done. LP Pride coming out of the ordinance officers being trained. An officer gave up vacation time in order to be there and to help us out. CERT was everywhere, as we can appreciate them and the fine job that they do for us. All of the department heads and everyone else that we have spoken to. We have Mr. Gallagher, who is our, what's the official title? city management coordinator was just up to his elbows in the whole thing. Lisa Jones, Lisa Griggs, Jennifer Richardson, everybody was just jumping in. Mike Parr provided some valuable expertise on everything, but again, the person that got it all done in a timely fashion and made sure that everything was done according to snuff and spent a lot of his time was our very own fire chief with this, Steve Martin. And I think that he deserves all the accolades in the world, because as we go through this, and this isn't something that's done, as the people that have their damage done to their homes and continue on, he is going to continue on, as the emergency operations is going to continue on, gathering data, submitting, and trying to do what is best for the city of Lincoln Park. It's an unfortunate event, but it brings out the best in people, and you should be very proud of how your team behaved. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Support.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding? Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. That was 9:20.